So Ragnow calling it a career. Meanwhile, Mariners have the day off after taking the series from the Minnesota Twins. The Baltimore Orioles come to town starting tomorrow. 3-game series that you'll catch right here. Seattle Sports on 710.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Welcome, everybody. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com. Happy Monday to everybody out there. We are coming to you live from the Virginia Mason Athletics Center, where the Seahawks are in the midst of OTAs. We're going to get a chance to catch up with a member of the Seattle Seahawks at 2:30. Julian Love will join us on the program, he's always a great talker. He's a really fun interview.
He is one of the best, actually. Yeah, really nice guy. And remember we had him on one time, and there was a girl that texted in that he came over and signed something for her. And yeah. He's just one of the good guys. And important part of this defense is the safeties. So it'll be interesting to hear what it's like for him running that defense in his second year.
Yeah, so we'll speak with him coming up at 2:30. Ryan Rowland-Smith joining us at 3 p.m. and we'll talk a lot about this. What a weekend for the Mariners, right? You were texting on Friday that you were watching the game on delay. You were doing some other things. You were watching a Dwight Clark documentary, and don't tell me. And boy, there was a lot to tell you.
Yeah,
there was a lot to tell you. There was a lot of good, and then a lot of really bad. So ultimately, it was crazy the way things went. Some of the good things. Cole Young gets called up, gets a base hit in his first game, but more importantly, he gets this is an interesting way to end the game, a walk-off fielder's choice.
The pitch. Swinging a ground ball, bouncing softly to the first base throw. Oh, not in time! It's a walk-off for the Mariners. Cole Young in his Major League debut is showered with seeds and gum and the water bucket in shallow right field. He has won it for the Mariners in the bottom of the 11th inning. Mastrobuoni scores 5-4 the final.
How about that? I mean, it hits the ball, maybe 80 feet.
Yeah.
Ty France field. Nice play by Ty France. Bare hands the ball. Nice throw to home. Mm-hmm. Luckily, Dan Wilson pinch ran for Mitch Garver, put Mastrobuoni out there and able to get in. I mean, just a very cool to see that happen for the young guy in his very first major league game, big league game. More importantly, the Mariners desperately needed that.
Yeah, they really did. And, it was just kind of cool to, look at the box scoring. Cole Young got the walk-off hit, and Mastrobuoni scored. I mean, It's not like that's Cal and
Julio or not guys we were talking about to begin the season.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing, too, I mean, it's pretty awesome having him out there at second because, I don't know. I always think when you get some good performance, whatever, from a player, it's usually a pitcher for the Mariners, right? And now you got a couple of guys that, like Ben Williamson as well, that, you're thinking when the season starts, boy, if we have to have those young guys, how's that going to work out? And it's worked out great for Ben, but, yeah, good start for Cole Young. And, I don't think it'll be interesting to see if he can consistently contribute, but, yeah, whenever it's a player, a hitter, a player that's not a pitcher, I'm like, oh man, that's nice because they're known for developing their pitchers, and just seems like an endless supply of pitchers, but not necessarily hitters.
Yeah, it was a really cool moment, man. It was fun. I found myself getting emotional watching it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it was just. You're excited for the young guy. It was very cool, and it was a very non-traditional way to win that game. I mean, it wasn't like he. Even a bloop into no man's land or lacing the ball down the line, game over, just a dribbler down the first base line and a play at home and the guy's safe. And look, you made contact, you put the ball in play. And that's the big the story on him is he's the guy that puts the ball in play, he's going to make contact. And good things happen when you can do that. Now he's only played in 2 games. He's got that one hit and then that fielder's choice. So we'll see how it goes after he gets some games under his belt. But that was very cool, and the crowd going nuts. And then you had Randy Arozarena coming up with a walk-off single.
1-1 tie, bottom of the ninth inning. The stretch, the 2-1 pitch, swinging a ground ball, up the middle, base hit. The Mariners win it. Randy Arozarena jumps on first base. A walk-off single. Julio scores, and the Mariners win it 2-1 over the Minnesota Twins. Second consecutive walk-off win for the Mariners in this series.
Yeah, that was huge because, Julio gets on with an infield single that probably should have been ruled an error, but they called it a hit. Steals second, bad throw from the catcher, ends up in center field. He goes to third, and then I think Cal came up next, struck out, and then Arozarena came up, single up the middle, boom, win.
Well, wasn't everybody thinking that Cal's definitely gonna do this?
He's gonna put it in the stands.
Yeah,
that's what he's been doing the whole series.
Oh my God, yeah. It's been ridiculous. But boy, by the way, that throw down to second, I mean, that wasn't even close.
That was brutal.
Oh my gosh,
so it was a terrible throw.
Loved that he took advantage of that, and I had to close my window because once again I was screaming at the television and some words that aren't
suitable for the airwaves.
That's right.
Or your neighborhood.
Yeah, my neighborhood. Yeah. So there's lots of young kids out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was just a clutch win there, and the night before as well. And yeah, it's been kind of a weird few days. I mean, after that road trip, you didn't really know how to feel about the, losing 3 games to the Astros, and then you come home and just shellac the Nationals 9-1, and then you lose, and it just looks totally hopeless. Then you lose in extra innings on Friday night. So nice to see him get back, but it's just, I don't know. You're trying to figure out, like, what kind of a team is this? The kind of a team it is one that's going to be able to, hang in there and come from behind, and they've won a lot of games that way. So yeah, just very clutch in both those games over the weekend.
Yeah, and it was a couple of cool moments there. You win the series. Yeah, it got dicey. There were moments where you're like, what is going on? Blowing the lead in the ninth, and it's going to extra innings, and the bullpen's just getting worked. But you're sitting right now at 3-3 on this homestand. You still got 3 games left with the Baltimore Orioles, but the Cole Young thing was a really cool thing. And Dan Wilson talking about this Saturday after the game.
Picking up his first big league hit. And then, making contact. And we talk a lot with our guys about little things. And making contact there, he got down 0-2, being aggressive, which that's what we were hoping for. And then, it took a couple pitches, 1 or 2 pitches that were close, and then got a pitch that he made contact with. And with Stroh down there at third base, that's all he needed. Huge play. Huge win. Great job for a debut. Had a little bit of everything. I doubt he'll ever forget that one.
We're calling him Stroh?
Stroh is Mastroboni.
That's what I figured.
Yeah. He's already got the E sound at the end of his name, so they got to go another direction.
Right.
Yeah. So, that was huge. That was huge. And then some of the other things we've been saying this all year. Munoz is going to give up a run at some point.
Right.
And he did. He had a rough one, gave up 3, had 2 blown saves, gave up 4 runs in his last two outings out there. And you're going, all right, is that the inevitable that we were talking about? You knew he wasn't going to end the season with a 0 ERA. It's not going to happen. They're going to have these days. So I'm curious, and you guys can text in 866-979-3776. You look at Munoz in the past couple of games and go, look, that's baseball, man. That's how it goes. Or do you think, well, they've used him a lot. Maybe it's fatigue. Maybe it's, I've got other concerns. We did have this cut from John Morosi. This is back on May 6th. And he at that point, this is a month ago, essentially expressing a little concern about how often he was being called upon.
The one number that I'm worried about right now with Andres is 17 games. That's a lot of appearances in the early part of May. That is almost an uncomfortable number of appearances. And so what that tells me is that the Mariners are going to have to find some other relievers who are part of Dan Wilson's circle of trust and do it rather quickly. They've been creative. They've shown that they know how to find value. And you have Matt Brash coming back. Obviously, he's already been back, which is a really important point in their season. But they need, I think, at least at least one more quality leverage reliever.
Yeah, I wonder who that could be. Trent Thornton was awfully good, over the years, but this year he's kind
been
of
hit and miss,
struggling a little
no pun
bit.
intended.
But yeah, and then just seeing Brash come in, man, there was a strike that he threw. Was it yesterday or the day before? The hitter was not. I think it was Larnach. He wasn't within 2 feet of the ball. I mean, it's ridiculous how screwed around he gets hitters. And he's just so special. So I love seeing that, and I think the combination of him and Andres is really dynamic coming out of that bullpen. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. To me, I mean, Andres is just such a big, strong, young kid. He's only 26 years old, and I kind of feel like he can handle it. But I mean, obviously they know better, and they've always done a good job of managing health as far as their pitchers go.
Yeah, it's something to keep an eye on. I mean, I'm not worried, but it was like, all right, yeah, as much as we've been saying, look, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. When it did happen, it was like, oh, okay. Yeah. I think what made it work, like the first game, he was like, all right, it wasn't a good outing, wasn't sharp. For him to come back in the next one and kind of struggle with the command of his slider and his location out there, you're going, all right. Maybe it's just the vagaries of baseball, but I'm not going to sort of just propped up the antennas a little bit. Meanwhile, the guy that just went nuts is Cal Raleigh, who's got 6 home runs in his last 6 games, 3 games in a row with a home run, and he's been named the American League co-player of the week.
That's all you get, a co-player?
Yeah, I was just looking up because the other guy is Rays infielder Junior Caminero. So they're sharing the award, and I was trying to look up his numbers because I was not paying attention to what he's doing. But Cal in this week hit 348, 6 runs, 6 home runs, 10 RBI, a stolen base, and he had an on-base percentage of .444, slugging .1130, with an OPS of 1575. Now, Caminero, I'm looking at his week. He had a 4-for-5 day with 2 doubles and 2 home runs in one game, drove in 5. That was a huge game. Game before that, he went 0-for-3. Game before that, he went 3-for-6 with a double and a home run. Game before that, 2-for-4 with a home run. All right, so he had 4 home runs in the week. Looks like he drove in 11.
Yeah. A lot of RBIs.
13, sorry.
One game 5, another game 6.
Yeah. All right, so he deserves okay. All right, I won't kick and scream about that.
Yeah.
He heck of a week for him. But I mean, Cal Raleigh was just unreal. Just you talked about we all expected him in that situation where Julio's on third base. All right, here's Cal. Game's over.
Yep.
He's going to do something. But let's just run these back to back, and I'll explain what they are. But this is Cal Friday, Saturday, Sunday, working his magic.
Pitch on the way. Swing and a drive down the right field line. Stay fair again, baby. It is gone. Goodbye, baseball. Cal Raleigh does it again. A 2-run, 2-out home run. Just fair inside the foul pole. Down the right field line. And it's now the Mariners 6 and the Twins 3. Cal's second home run of the night. His 21st home run of the season. And he just adds on to his major league record for the most home runs by a major league catcher before the end of the month of May. And again, here it's May the 30th. What a night for Cal Raleigh. 5 runs batted in.
On a 2-2. Swinging a fly ball. Right field. Has he left the yard again? Cal Raleigh has. He just continues to hit home runs. A 2-run tank out to right field, his 22nd this year. And the Mariners trail it by a run. 3-2 Twins in the bottom of the 3rd.
I'm sure
Here's
Matt's
the pitch.
very annoyed.
Swung on, crushed, right field. It's on its way. Goodbye. Cal Raleigh does it again. He is unbelievable. The home run leader in baseball strikes again. Cal Raleigh going deep. We are all living the Cal Raleigh dream. And the Mariners lead 1-0.
Hey, Dave, remember how Bob said, we're going to run these back to back? That was your indication to know that we were going to run the highlights back to back.
I blew right through that one.
Yeah, and then on the next one, I bet he's annoyed with me. Jeez, if he's not, I am.
He'd win that bet.
God. Anyway, Cal, just
you didn't say back to back to back.
Unbelievable. Well, it doesn't matter. You blew the back to back. So, but 3 games in a row with a home run. Again, 6 home runs in his last 6 games. For the month of May, Cal Raleigh hit 304, which for anybody's good. Yeah. For him, it's phenomenal. He's not an average guy. 430 on base for the month of May, and then doing all the damage he did. I mean, just you're kind of running out of things to say about him at this point. I'm looking at him going, all right, is Cal going to be the superstar that everybody expected Julio to be? And Julio can still be that guy, you know, but right now in terms of just coming up in the most crucial moments, doing it on a consistent basis, playing in a, you know, maybe the most important position on the field, you could argue, with the catcher out there. I mean, it's just what he's doing is just unreal.
It really is. And, you know, and I wonder, you know, if maybe, I know this happened to me, like when I signed in Denver, just when I got a new contract, it was, I think for Cal, it's just one less thing to think about, you know, and I don't think that he's all fired up because of the numbers, you know, as far as how it represents his net worth and all that. I think it's just more about being secure and just one less thing to think about. That home run yesterday was my favorite. Just the left-handed swing. It was like a curveball.
Well, yeah, it was a 12-6 curveball, and he caught it at the 6. I mean, he golfed that thing out of there. He went down. That was that was not a strike.
Right.
Where he hit that ball was out of the zone and just golfed it out of there.
Yeah, and it looked like he just barely hit it, you know, and he kind of went to one hand. He's
torpedo
got a
bat.
Was it the torpedo bat?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just love his left-handed swing. It's just so easy for him. And yeah, that was just phenomenal because when he starts to swing, I mean, that pitch was like 2 feet away from where it was going to be.
Yeah. And the one he hit, was it Friday? The one he hit, which was another one that was out of the zone up, which you don't see him go after. Right. That was above top rail, and he got that one out from the left side. So he's just red hot right now. I mean, he's just, you know, we always talk about, you know, guys when they see it, the ball slows down. It looks like a beach ball to him, whatever. He's seeing every seam on the ball. He's in that spot right now. He's as hot as he's probably ever been in his baseball career at the minor league level or here. I mean, he's just on an absolute tear, and it is incredibly fun to watch. It's just, it's kind of cool to have a guy step up to the plate where you go, yeah, he's going to do it.
Yeah.
He's going to make something happen. Doesn't mean he struck out yesterday when Julio's on third. It's going to happen, but he's sort of conditioning us to expect something.
Right.
Home run, base hit, whatever. I mean, he's getting on base. He's hitting for power. He's hitting for average in a way he has not in his career. And it's going to be a fun season to watch. Can he keep it going? What does he look like as the season goes on? Are other guys going to start to kick in with him? And other guys have, but not to the level that he's done as far as consistency.
Wow, it sounds like you really love Cal Raleigh.
I've always loved Cal. I just don't love him at your level where we could be talking about who's playing second base and you're going to squeeze Cal into the conversation.
Hey, he's got his average up to 264. I mean, that really impresses me, just because he's just not that kind of guy. But to go along with the 23 home runs, I mean, it's just, and over 1,000 OPS, it's just phenomenal. So yeah, it is kind of getting that way. Like yesterday when he struck out, I was like, oh man, I thought for sure that was going to happen. I thought it was going to be.
I thought he was going to come up with a base hit, or
By the way, he already hit a home run. So now you're asking him to do it again.
I'm not mad that he didn't. He's just, like we said, it's like we always bring up Tyler Lockett. If the ball hits his hands, he's going to catch it.
Right.
And then the time he doesn't, it stands out. You're like, whoa,
yeah,
he didn't catch that one.
Yeah.
You know, when they just continue to do something so consistently when it doesn't happen, and it's a good thing. This is, a compliment. He's so clutch. He's so consistent when it doesn't happen. I was like, oh, okay. Well,
yeah, maybe we'll look back and go, hey, remember that time Cal didn't hit a game-winning home run?
That'd be fun because that'd mean he'd keep this going through the whole season.
Right.
All right, let's take two.
You guys read off the numbers. Cal Raleigh is just a co-player of the week with the Rays, Junior Caminero. I guess he's deserving. It is the first weekly honor for Cal. One thing to watch out for, though, should be announced within the next couple of days. AL Player of the Month will be announced shortly.
Yeah, it's got to be his, and I say that without knowing any of the other contender stats. I didn't know Caminero had the week he had, so yeah. I was ready to rage. What do you mean? But he's had a hell of a week, Caminero. So, all props to him, and we'll see how the monthly award goes. But I don't know what else he could do to win the award. I don't know if he's capable of more. Does he need to hit more home runs? Does he need to hit 350 for the month? I mean, again, his month of May, he hit 304, which is in a stratosphere for him when you look at his career average, and an on base of 430.
Yeah, and it's kind of scary that you didn't even know who this kid was with Tampa. He's batting .262. He's got 13 home runs. 21 years old.
Well, Mariners also announced today, on the 35th anniversary of Randy Johnson's no-hitter, that they're retiring his number 51 jersey next season, and that's because they still to retire Ichiro's number 51 jersey this season on August 9th.
Now, somebody out there probably knows this. I don't know off the top of my head. Are there teams that have a retired number for multiple players, the same number?
Actually, that question was asked,
Bump and Stacy,
and Alex Mayer has the answer.
Yeah, of course he does.
Yeah. It is a handful of teams. Let's see. The Cubs, the Reds, the Nationals/Expos, the Yankees. It's a few. A few have it with the 42 and elsewhere, but let's see. It looks like, about 5 teams have it.
5 teams, yeah.
Or are they counting the Yankees because of Rivera?
There is one, Bill Dickey and Yogi Berra, the number 8.
Okay.
For the Yankees.
Okay.
And the Cubs have Fergie Jenkins and Greg Maddux. The Reds, actually, Willard Hirschberger and Johnny Bench.
Oh, the Hirscher. Yeah. Okay. Well, all right. So Mariners will have 2 number 51s retired in honor of Ichiro and the big unit, Randy Johnson. Take 2 is brought to you by Swedish Cyberknife. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/cyberknife prostate. Coming up, Seahawks are wrapping up their on-field work. We're going to catch up with one of our favorites. Julian Love is scheduled to join us next as we continue live from the Virginia Mason Athletic Center with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
It's the next phase of the Seahawks offseason. OTAs.
Jansen, he's going 40.
And 30. Seattle Sports is all over it.
The Seahawks, they're into it now.
The one thing about Mike McDonald is he knows exactly what he wants to do.
Wyman and Bob are live from the VMAC all afternoon. Complete insider coverage at seattlesports.com, the Seattle Sports YouTube channel, and the Seattle Sports app. We are the home of the Seahawks. Seattle Sports.
Allergy and sinus symptoms are annoying. They're frustrating and can ruin an entire day. They're also curable. I'm Dr. Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. We can free our patients of awful symptoms by testing and treating their allergies to simple, non-invasive treatments. Stop suffering from nasal congestion, sneezing, runny nose, facial pain, and even snoring. Let us help you get relief. Easily, quickly, and permanently. We're local in Federal Way and in Auburn. Come see us or book your appointment at sternsinus.com.
This is Matt Coker from West Coast Men's Health. Has Viagra stopped working for you? Do you hate the side effects? If you've taken Viagra for any length of time, you already know that pills are not the solution to ED. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. No pills, no shots, no surgery. We can also treat Peyronie's disease. Our non-invasive treatment for ED is painless and highly effective. We have treated thousands of men just like you. Stop living with this problem and do something about it. Do yourself a favor, do your partner a favor, and call us today.
Call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com. HSA cards welcome and financing available.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman for Swedish Cyberknife. You know, we had Andy Ryder. He is the mayor of Lacey, and he's a Swedish Cyberknife patient. We had him and Dr. Landis from Swedish Cyberknife in studio last week, and A couple things that stood out about Swedish CyberKnife treatment. Number one, it only takes 5 sessions. Andy was able to complete treatment in 1 week, Monday through Friday, while continuing to work full time, and each treatment session, it lasts less than an hour. So he's able to remain comfortable during treatment, wearing street clothes, didn't experience many side effects other than just mentioning he was a little bit tired. But you compare that with other treatment methods where you have to have surgery or have a catheter. I mean, it's night and day. And we talk about building a sports team and trying to find stars. Swedish CyberKnife truly has done that. It's an all-pro roster of doctors and world-renowned experts in their field, just like Dr. Landis. Swedish CyberKnife treats patients from all over the state, and you don't need a physician referral. You can reach out to them directly. So if you have been diagnosed with prostate cancer, go to swedish.org/cyberknife prostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
The home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers, plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us, plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
The team at Mazda of Everett is always working hard to make your experience with their team exceptional. Mazda of Everett has over 700 new Mazdas in stock, tariff-free. It's the perfect time to buy a new Mazda. Visit our friends at Mazda of Everett on Highway 99 in Everett or shop online at mazdaofeverett.com. Click the Mazda of Everett price where pre-tariff pricing still applies. Shop their tariff-free selection at Mazda of Everett. Ready for some summer hoops? Register your team for the July 12th and 13th Everett 3-on-3 tournament presented by Boeing. 4 players to a team, 2 days of exciting action, 1 incredible tournament. Players of all ages and abilities are encouraged to come out and play. Go to everett3on3.net today and sign up your team. That's everett3on3.net. A special thank you to event major sponsors Amazon, City of Everett, Snohomish County TPA, and Tulalip Resort Casino. This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We continue live from the Virginia Mason Athletic Center. It's Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710. And always a pleasure to speak with this guy. Man, always a fun conversation. Julian Love of your Seattle Seahawks is in studio with us. How are you, man?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Doing great. What's I was just telling Dave out that we were out there watching you guys going, man, how great is this? It's perfect temperature. You're right by the water. Did you miss it, or are you going, man, I can't believe we're already getting ready for the season? How do you feel about being back out there?
No, I miss it. I mean, it's amazing here. Obviously, everyone talks about summertime Seattle. We're kind of approaching that with the weather, and then you see eagles flying around. I mean, you can't beat it. And we had a good off season. Obviously, we have some more in the summer, but it's just good to be back around the guys just playing football, which is fun.
Do you warn some of the new guys that it's not like this all the time?
I don't. I just let them enjoy it. When I got out here, I feel like the spring, it was 2023.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, oh, yeah, enjoy this sun. It's not like this. But it was. It was like a great spring, great summer, into a great fall. Then last year it wasn't so much.
Yeah.
But it's what it is.
Yeah. I remember my 4th or 5th year in the league, it rained every day in June. So I got a place down in Arizona. So, yes.
You were there
go
often?
work out down there. But, hey, how does it feel the second year in this defense? How much more? I mean, I know always the first year for a rookie, that jump to the second year is always huge. Was it kind of like that with the defense?
I think so. I think where we started this spring relative to last spring, obviously, is just night and day. Sure. Even though I think the efficiency about how we're moving, how we're coordinating practice, how we're coordinating our meetings and walkthroughs, it's way more well-oiled than last year. Last year, we were all figuring each other out. Everybody's cadence out. This year, we definitely feel good, but we can't fall into the trap of just expecting it to be like really good. We kind of are growing to work on everything day to day.
How much time do you take off in the off season? Do you say, oh, I'm taking 2 weeks and I'm back lifting, running, or how's your off season go for you?
I take time off. I think just because of my size and kind of the physical nature of how I play and how many snaps I'm taking, I have to take some time off. Now, it's really just mental time, not thinking about football. But then I'll do Pilates and Peloton kind of right after the season ends. So I'll do that for a month or two and then start getting back into my football lifts.
Did you get a vacation in? Did you go to Hawaii or something, or go to Europe?
We were deciding Hawaii. Then I realized how long the flight still was from Seattle, and it's even longer with the baby. We could not do that flight. But we did go down to Puerto Rico from the East Coast, which was good. Had Leo's wedding, Leonard Williams' wedding,
okay.
Nice. Which was down there as well. So we got some sun.
Okay.
Yeah, we definitely got out.
Was it the Tennessee game the year before when you had your child?
Yeah.
And you have one, right?
One, yeah.
And so a little over a year now, starting to be fun to.
Oh, he's in the mix. He started walking at 9 months. So now he's walking and talking and running and climbing and playing, and he has intent behind his words. It's been a really fun spring. Kind of right now that it's getting nice. I mean, we're just gonna have a blast this summer.
Well, you can brag about that he's walking at 9 months because that's pretty early. But once they start walking, you're like, oh.
Then you
the whole other thing.
Those at 2:30 rolled around in these past few months, and me and my wife are just looking at each other like, so is it your turn now to run after him? Yeah, a lot of coffee. A lot of energy.
Is everything been baby proof? You got rubber corners on the tables and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, a ton of baby gates in the house, the bumpers. It's everything. Everything's baby proof.
I like how you have to cage a man like wild animals.
Yeah. So, some have a leash. Some have them tethered.
I've seen a few of those at the airport. We'll never do that. That's crazy.
I'm not doing
That's
the
crazy.
leash, man.
Hey, how much do you pay attention to the not prognosticators, the analysts around the league, the national voices, if you will? Because he and I are talking a lot about, a lot of ESPN putting out the predictions, and CBS Sports putting out their power rankings. It's early, obviously. We don't know what the team's going to look like. But it seems like the consensus, if you look at the Vegas line, they're predicting a 7.5, 8.5 win total for this team. And he and I are looking at it going, are we drinking the Kool-Aid? Are we too close to it? That doesn't make sense. But you tell me, do you hear that? And how do you feel about this team as compared to how you felt going into last season?
I think it's just kind of it's a half effort into really analyzing kind of our team and our structure. I think you could look at who left, obviously talented people, who came in, some talented people as well, but they don't know kind of the makeup of how we're going to shift in terms of a culture standpoint. And I'm pretty sure our line was bad last year. And I don't read it or hear any of that stuff, but I have the in-laws, the friends back home just chirping, asking kind of what I think. And last year, I'm pretty sure the line was low too, and I think we beat it. And
I think it was 6.5 or
crazy.
Something like that.
So it's if you know, you know. And I think I'd rather have it this way than the other way. I don't want to be overhyped going into a season and then having guys drink the Kool-Aid. I want guys to have a chip on their shoulder going and getting it, despite what people think on the outside.
Yeah, that's always a good thing to have. And I think every player plays with a chip on his shoulder, right?
Yeah.
If you don't have a chip, you're going to create one, right?
Yeah. I am the king of. You got to have an edge. You got to find it. It might be just fictitious. It might not be a thing, but you got to find some way to get after it day in and day out, as you know. That's all. Players could use that.
Yeah. How about the young kid? What are you seeing from him, Eamon Worry?
Man, I mean, he's
like
very tall. He's cut up. He's fast. He has all the makings of a really great player in this league. And now I guess it's my job just to kind of help him refine his routine, what he's doing on and off the field, just be kind of a mentor for him. But, I mean, he was born a certain way. He's worked to this point to be a certain way, have a certain skill set. And so now it's just maximizing that.
Hey, as far as the defense last year, started out kind of slow, made some changes. In the second half of the season, I believe you guys were top 10 in the NFL. And that's another reason we're looking at that win total going, well, we expect that defense to be even better to start the year. But what was the biggest shift? Was it game planning, or was it attitude? Was it what changed so dramatically with that defense?
Probably a mixture in the sense of attitude-wise. We all looked at each other, and some of the leaders, I remember sitting in one meeting, and, Jay Reed said something about how, that the Super Bowl team used to go at it in practice and, like, chirp each other, and it was very, very competitive. And we needed to get some of that in practice. And so I know from then on, it was right before the first Rams game that guys started to, like, get at it after each other in practice in a good way, in a healthy way. But in, like allowing a catch on defense is not okay. Allowing a runner go through the end zone scot-free is not okay. So it's just like habits we're forming. And then two, play calls just got more catered to who we were. I think you don't know exactly how players are going to respond in game scenarios until you get in game scenarios. And so it was all kind of it took some time. It took time to mesh, but there was a call to action for sure at that midway point of, like, we're way too talented to be as mid-level as we are.
Yeah, that was really interesting. I mean, Ernest Jones, obviously, his arrival. And then it seemed like he brought Tyrese along.
Yeah.
Tyrese Knight a little bit. But, yeah, I mean, it just seemed like it just clicked for you guys. How relieving was that? I mean, you were like, this defense works, right?
Yeah.
And we're just not making it work. That must have been a big load off your shoulders to at least know that, hey, we're in the right direction now.
Yeah, it was. We developed an identity and a swagger to us. I think from that first Rams game we lost, but defensively we were lights out. And then that led us into the bye week of realizing, like, okay, if we approach this thing a certain way, we can get these results. And I know Mike's like, whatever, first half of the year, whatever happened. Like, we can't change it now. But can we be the best defense in the league going forward? The last 8-9 weeks of the season, can we be the best? And I remember him saying that. That was a quote from the head man. And I think it was like, all right, yeah, can we be? And I think we got damn close to it the last half of the season. So now we just got to do it for the duration of the year.
Hey, last thing before we let you go, when you talked about changes, talent leaving, talent coming in.
Yeah.
When you see, big-time names for the team, your quarterback, your two wide receivers, Tyler and DK leaving, and Gino, as a player on the team, are you shocked are you like, wait, what happened? Or did you kind of have any inklings about that? I felt like we knew about Tyler.
Yeah, I would say.
The other two, how'd you
Other
respond?
ones I was shocked. I was real shocked. I don't know where I was. I was at home, and obviously I get a flurry of texts from people back home asking, like, what's going on. And I knew about Tyler. Me and Tyler were pretty close, and I was kind of in the stars or whatever. But everything else was really shocking. As a player, I'm not in those meetings. I'm not in those conversations. I don't know what's going on.
They didn't call you?
He must have. He must have had the wrong number. John must have. Yeah. But I mean, it's the nature of this league. But it's just shocking when some of your premier players that happens to.
Yeah.
And so all you can do is like, all right, what are we going to do to get guys in? And then we're thankful on the defensive side of the ball that there hasn't been too much change. Everyone, for the most part, from last year is coming back in a significant role. And we added, obviously, Nick and young Riley Mills, the draft. And so defensively, we're okay. But offensively, it's going to be a shift.
Yeah. Well, man, it's always fun talking to you. We always appreciate you taking some time with us. And obviously, we wish you nothing but the best. And hopefully we'll catch up when training camp happens and throughout the season.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. Anytime, I'm available.
Okay, we're going to take you up on that.
Perfect.
You just put it out there. Now we're going to be calling you night and day.
We're gonna be bothering you.
Appreciate it, man.
Perfect.
There you go. There's Julian Love of your Seattle Seahawks. Always a fun conversation. You guys missed any part of that, you can find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Meanwhile, one key piece of the Mariners rotation returned over the weekend. We'll talk about what stood out in that performance. That's coming up next with Wyman and Bob. It is Seattle Sports on 710.
What a weekend.
Swinging a ground ball up the middle, base hit.
The Mariners' resilient shine.
A walk-off single. Julio scores.
The big dumper unloads.
Cal Raleigh does it again.
Tomorrow night, the homestand continues with a first of 3 against the Orioles at T-Mobile Park. First pitch at 6:40 on the home of the Mariners and the AL West race. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month, but what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
Hey, Mike Salk here with special guest Ryan Rowland-Smith, and we love having Hyphen on the show to talk a little baseball, but today, talking about something a bit more personal, yet really exciting. Hyphen, share all the good news.
Thanks, Mike. Look, I've been hearing for about 2 years now how you did the Eastside Weight Loss Clinic plan and how you lost a ton of weight. I decided to see what the program was all about, and I'm so glad I did. So far, I've lost 30 pounds in just 60 days, and my only regret is not starting sooner.
Well, I'm happy for you. What's been the best part of the program so far?
Honestly, how simple it's been. There's no crazy exercises, no counting calories or scary shots or injections, no side effects or any of that stuff. I feel healthier, I'm sleeping better, I'm eating delicious meals, and the accountability plus communication from the Eastside Weight Loss Clinic team has made it fun.
Man, that is awesome, buddy. Would you recommend it?
Yes. To anyone listening, I was in your shoes. Just schedule a 15-minute consult at Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. It's all you have to do to start.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary. Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
The Mariners are transforming T-Mobile Park into Seattle's hottest karaoke club for Sing-Along Fireworks Night. Don't miss an incredible post-game show on Friday, June 13th, presented by T-Mobile, after the team squares off against the Guardians at 7:10.
He does it again. Home runs in 3 consecutive games. Cal
It's your chance to belt your heart out on the big stage to chart-topping hits and feel-good throwbacks. Fireworks and Mariners baseball. That's 2 spectacular shows in one unforgettable night.
Strong play call. Triple digits to end it and complete the sweep.
Visit mariners.com/fireworks to get your tickets and see the complete lineup of Mariners fireworks nights this summer, including a patriotic palooza on July 3rd and an 80s show on July 18th. Plus, check out everything else on deck at T-Mobile Park, including a Father's Day socks giveaway Sunday, June 15th, thanks to Muckleshoot Casino Resort. Mariners baseball. Trident's up.
Do you have a car you'd like to sell but don't want to go through all the hassle? With all the scams and security risks out there, more and more people are uncomfortable selling their own car. So how do you get the most money for your used car without selling it yourself? Stacy here with the answer. Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Not only will they purchase your car and pay you right up front for it, but it gets way better. Once they resell your old car, they share half the profit with you. The question I get most from my friends and colleagues is, what's the catch? And how can they offer this? It's super simple. All the money they save by not traveling to buy cars at auctions, like purchase fees, shipping, and travel expenses, is what allows them to offer this. They'd rather share that money they save with you than outside vendors. They encourage you to shop around, but if Wayscar Ford can pay you the same or more as their competitors and then share half their profit with you once they resell your car, why would you sell your car anywhere else? They've already shared over $800,000 with customers, and it's only at Wayscar Ford. That's wayscarford.com, Wayscar Ford in Auburn.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Our thanks to Julian Love, who sat in with us on the previous segment. In case you guys are just tuning in and missed that conversation, you'll be able to find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com, and I would highly recommend you do. He's always very engaging, great, very candid, just very positive. He's a fun guy to talk to.
Yeah, what a great leader on your defense to have a guy like that. And and you know, getting to he's a really nice guy, but he's not too nice.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, when he gets on the field, he's a different guy. He's pretty ferocious, man. And like he said, for his body type to be throwing his body around, kind of like Spoon.
Yeah,
you know, he's got to prepare certain ways. So yeah, I was going to ask him what his football lifts are, because I don't know what guys are doing now. They're doing so many different kinds of things, and we used to just do squats, power cleans, bench.
Or if you're a Walter Jones, you just push a truck around.
Push a truck around.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll get a chance to talk to him again. He said any time, so we're going to have to take him up on that.
Definitely.
But meanwhile, Mariners, they win the series against the Minnesota Twins. They're 3-3 on this homestand with 3 games to go against Baltimore, who, by the way, have just won 3 in a row. Now, it was against the White Sox, and we'll talk more about that coming up. But it's a team that has surprised everybody in baseball by how bad they've been. So hopefully they're not getting hot as they arrive in Seattle. But we saw Bryce Miller back. So you have almost your full rotation back, still waiting on Logan Gilbert. We're still waiting on George Kirby to look like George Kirby.
Yeah.
And we're going to find out. This will be his 3rd start of his season during the Baltimore series, talking about George Kirby. We saw Bryce Miller come back. Now, he had already had a bunch of starts prior to hitting the IL. So he came back. He goes 4 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, 1 walk, 2 Ks, 1 home run, 71 pitches. And much like his other starts, there were moments it looked like, oh, there's Bryce Miller. He looks the same. It looks like his stuff. And then, command leaves him. He, leaves one out over the plate, what have you. So it was hard to walk away from this going, all right, does he look better? Does he? How did he feel about it? Well, here's what he said after that start.
Felt good. I was glad to be back. It's not very, very entertaining doing nothing for 18 days, or however many it was. But no, yeah, I felt good. I think first inning was as good as it gets. That felt like the old me. Everything felt good. I think, if I could do anything over, it would be the leadoff walk to Correa and then falling behind. Gave my heater in a hitter's count, and he got to it. But other than that, the rest of the game, I think everything felt pretty good. Curveball was really good today. Left a couple splitters up that, and out in the future, try to get to more competitive spots, especially in O2 and finish counts. But yeah, it was good to be back.
So little different tone there, and then one more from him real quick. Just talked about feeling 100% for the first time this season.
Yeah, it's not fun pitching through stuff, and yeah, especially when I went out in the first inning and was letting it rip and everything felt really good. That's super encouraging. It's felt really good the last really week and a half. So yeah, that's encouraging, and I think moving forward, I just have to make sure I keep body and the arm and the elbow warm, especially on a cool night. And whoever set the fire alarm off, that wasn't ideal for me, but we got through the fourth, and yeah.
I forgot about that.
I missed that part.
Oh, the game got halted because the alarm went off at T-Mobile Park.
Oh.
Yeah, it went off. It was going off.
Saturday night?
Yeah, it was going off for, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes or so. The game was stopped, and there you see Trevor Gooby out there talking to the ump, and he's on the phone. I don't know who they're talking to, and then they get it shut off, and then it goes back on, and it was a bit of an ordeal. But I guess the positive from that is his comments, because we heard him on multiple occasions going, I just didn't feel good. I haven't felt good, and him saying, no, I felt 100%, and I just went out there first inning, let it rip, and that's the old me. And so he just mentally, he sounds to be in a better place. Physically, sounds like he feels better, and we'll see what it looks like in his next start. But it was kind of an interesting start in that the numbers didn't look dramatically different from his other starts. So you're going, all right, I don't know how to feel about this one.
Yeah, but like you said, his comments, that was a totally different person.
Yeah,
talking there as opposed to what we heard before. I mean, the whole thing where he's talking about it getting in his head, and so I mean, I'm just glad to hear that. Like you said, the numbers don't necessarily reflect that he's fixed. I mean, I just remember at the end of last year, he had 3 quality starts and threw almost 300 pitches and gave up 2 earned runs in those 3 starts. And so you just kind of expect that from Bryce Miller. And so now, yeah, the number's not looking good, but I'm so much more, I feel like with pitchers, if you just listen to what they say and how they feel, it's a lot different than what you see out on the field. And like you said, just 4 innings and, gave up 3 earned runs, but the fact that he just sounds like he's in a better mood, like he's figured it out, he's on top of it. So that's encouraging, even though, the numbers don't blow your skirt up.
No, not the first one. And I would imagine his road back, hopefully, is going to be much quicker than what we're seeing out of Kirby. Because, again, we've said this repeatedly, but Kirby had no spring training. He didn't have a beginning to the season where he was stretched out and he was going on his regular turn the way Bryce was, the way Logan Gilbert was. They had full spring. They got into the regular season, multiple starts. So there's 2 different starting points for those guys. So we'll see. I'm expecting a very different version of Kirby this time. Like I looked at his previous starts going, okay, he didn't have all that like we just touched on. Now's where we should see a big step forward. I don't expect him to be 8 shutout innings and 9 strikeouts and no walks. That'd be awesome, but I'm not expecting it. But I'm expecting a good step forward from what we've seen, which hasn't been awesome. Right. So, yeah, and Bryce, I would imagine, is right around there. But we'll ask this guy. This guy knows a thing or two about pitching. It wouldn't be a Monday without talking to our buddy Ryan Rowland-Smith. He's going to join us next as we continue live from the Virginia Mason Athletic Center. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
It's the next phase of the Seahawks offseason, OTAs.
Jansen, he's going 40.
And 30. Seattle Sports is all over it.
The Seahawks, they're into it now.
The one thing about Mike McDonald is he knows exactly what he wants to do.
Wyman and Bob are live from the VMAC all afternoon. Complete insider coverage at seattlesports.com, the Seattle Sports YouTube channel, and the Seattle Sports app. We are the home of the Seahawks. Seattle Sports.
When you have really good leaders, it makes it easy.
Gia arrived at Lee Johnson after 10 years at another dealership.
You know your job, but then you have people who you can rely on to help you with the big stuff that you need that support from. And I've gotten that every day with my service manager, with our assistant service manager, with even like our GM and our GSM. The way that, we're now on the showroom together, we are so close-knit just as a department. My service manager here, he's always open to teach you whatever you want to know. He just wants everybody to do good around him, and if somebody wants to learn something, I'm here to do it. And I've never had a service manager like that before. They're really good at promoting from within. That's one thing that I've learned from working here. I see people start out as a lot porter, and people work their way all the way up to being a general manager.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
You're losing your hair and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Perungo and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all three like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
In 6/22/25, new customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
Guys, want long-term health you can count on? It starts with knowing your numbers. This June, for Men's Health Month, Revive Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value, including testosterone, blood sugar, heart health, and more. Take control of your health today and stay strong for the long haul. Offer ends June 30th. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com today.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Well, the Mariners with a day off today before they welcome the Baltimore Orioles to town for a 3-game series that begins tomorrow. But some good news for the Mariners outside of taking the series from the Minnesota Twins. Cal Raleigh has been selected as the American League Co-Player of the Week for the week of May 26th through June 1st, along with Tampa Bay Rays infielder Junior Caminero. It's the first weekly award of Raleigh's career. Hard to believe he's never received one. But in that week, hit .348, 6 runs, 6 home runs, 10 RBI, 1 stolen base, got on base at a .444 clip, slugged .1130 with a .1575 OPS. So congratulations to Cal Raleigh, who's just functioning on a different level. Meanwhile, Colorado head coach Deion Sanders said he was, quote, hurt by reports that said his son Shedeur Sanders was unprepared during pre-draft meetings with NFL teams, but he also isn't buying the validity of them either. Shedeur, who had been widely expected to be a first-round pick, dropped to the 5th round before he was selected. But Deion saying, quote, it did hurt, but the Bible says God uses the foolish things to confound the wise. So apparently he's finding solace in Scripture, and we'll see how Shedeur handles everything that goes along his way as a 5th-round pick.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
I actually talked about it on You Betcha on the podcast.
He is an unrivaled source of baseball knowledge.
Anyway, what were we talking about?
A guy who always has your back.
Pants back on, try and make the uniform look sweet in a split second. Come out, and I'm trying to open the door. I'm like, what the? And I said, listen, buddy, put your babysitting shoes on, because Dad's going out for Father's Day. You got to watch Top Gun. You guys don't listen when I speak. I'm talking to a brick wall right now.
Ryan Rowland-Smith, every week with Wyman and Bob.
That's the open right there.
He's here, everybody. He joins us every Monday at 1 p.m. Joining us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline, our buddy, our pal, Ryan Rowland-Smith is here. How are you, man?
I'm doing well. Am I talking to you guys up on the International Space Station or something? Where are you? I can barely hear.
We are at the Virginia Mason Athletic Center. The Seahawks have OTAs happening this week, so we are broadcasting out here.
Nice.
Can you see us?
You see that
I can see it. I can see
thing?
it now. Yeah, looking fantastic. What's up, fellas?
Can't even get away from Ryan. I went to an Aqua Sox game yesterday, and I was went with our guy Brent Stecker, and I was like, hey, hang on, let me run in the bathroom real quick. And I walk up to a urinal, and I'm staring straight ahead, as one should do. And right in front of me is an advertisement for his baseball camp, Ryan Rowland-Smith. And I took a picture and sent it to him. He didn't respond, but it's okay.
Oh, of course not.
But you're everywhere, man. You're in minor league stadiums, big league stadiums. We can't get away from Ryan Rowland-Smith.
Well, I do. I've got my summer camps all summer long. NextGenBaseball.com, NXTGENBaseball.com. If you got a little league at ages 6 to 12, all skill levels welcome. Got the softball camps happening too. Thanks for the opening right there. But
yeah,
no, hey, we do one in Everett. It's epic, man. They do such a good job. I love the Aqua Sox, man. I'm a proud alumni of the Aqua Sox, and you sent me that photo. And it made me happy. I was stoked. I'm like, oh, they're actually advertising. I said, hey, have you sent this out? No one signed up yet. What's going on?
Yeah, it's right there. They're advertising in the men's bathroom. I can tell you that. I can't speak to what's going on in the women's bathroom, but you're right. They do it. We'll get to the Mariners, but the Aqua Sox do a great job. I had such a great time out there yesterday.
I love that.
Yeah, it's a cool stadium. It's very quaint. Obviously, it's much smaller, but seeing some of the hopefully future stars of the Mariners. I saw Colt Emerson and Laz Montez and Ty Pete, and there's some nice young talent to watch out there. But that was a good time out there. You're right; they do a good job, and the field is cool. And it was just a fun time. But yeah, looking at the Mariners, what a weird stretch, Ryan. Where there was a lot of good. Cal Raleigh is just on a different planet right now. A lot of different things you could point to that were good. Cole Young was what a cool story, but then. The extra innings game, blown leads, and the losses. They're 3-3 on this homestand. What is your takeaway from everything we've seen in these first 6 games of the homestand?
Yeah, it's interesting because you kind of get to that point where you get to the end of May, and then you can really start. You get 2 months through and you start sort of identifying what this team is. That's kind of. I'm not going to call Memorial Day sort of that point, but a lot of people do. But, you're not a month in where all of a sudden you get hot for 2 weeks and then that kind of sets you up for a good month. No, you're 2 months in, so you really get a good feel for what they're doing. But, yeah, what a crazy homestand. I was over on the East Coast sort of watching from afar, staying up late to watch some of the games. And I was like, man, I don't know if I can stay up this late because of some of the extra innings. But that was absolutely wild. The one thing I will say with this team, something we didn't see last year, you get late in the game, and if you remember, we talked about this for multiple years about those one-run games, those close games. Well, they run off pitching. They run off that really good bullpen. And then last year, to be honest with you, when you look at some of the numbers, one-run games they weren't that good. And then this year, they've been pretty good in those situations. So as I say to you guys multiple times, offense does not have to be a juggernaut. And I'm telling you, like you go back to the last six and the handful of at-bats, JP's picked it back up. He's hitting 364 in the last 6 games. Obviously Cal with the 6 home runs. There's a lot of contributors. I still say this offense doesn't have to be really good. It's going to be based off the pitching. You had a situation going back to that national series, which was just crazy. You ran into Mackenzie Gore, who, man, he's nasty. He's leading the league in strikeouts once he got to Seattle. And for good reason, man. He's got 4 different pitches with 2 strikes. He was really tough. And then George Kirby. Look, if there's one guy in this rotation I don't have to worry about because of his makeup and because of what he brings to the table in regards to, going off 2 starts, it's George Kirby. I'm telling you right now, he's going to be just fine. Not worried about that at all. He just has to get his feet wet and just start executing a little bit better with 2 strikes, and he can do that. He's got the ability. So crazy homestand. It's good to be back. They got the Orioles. Hopefully they can take advantage of them tomorrow.
Hey, Ryan, so you said Kirby, because that is one I actually have worried about, but you say I don't need to, and you said something about like his makeup. What do you mean by that? Like, what specifically, what is it about his makeup that you think is going to make everything fine?
Well, usually, like, I'm not going to go and compare 5 different starters here in regards to the rotation when they struggle. George Kirby, when he struggles, he'll miss a pitch, and then he gets, I use the word stubborn all the time. He gets back in the strike zone like, all right, I'm on the attack. If it was a situation where you're looking at him saying, hey, man, there's something really up with the velocity or there's something up with the movement. He hasn't got the same movement, right? And again, regardless of injuries or any of that, I'm just talking about performance-wise. Hey, look, that slider of his, which can be problematic at times, he's got to rely on that pitch with 2 strikes. It's been a problem, whatever it may be. There's nothing that says to me that, man, something's really up and he's got to figure it out. And I'm talking about from the stuff-wise. When you're talking velocity, movement, everything looks good. Now, in regards to the makeup, he's not one to sit there and all of a sudden over-process and try and reinvent the wheel. And we see guys do that. Hey, look, I was guilty of doing that. I went from 2009 where I had it all figured out to all of a sudden getting smashed in 2010 and I had to over-process everything. It was just a downhill spiral. He's completely different. He's oblivious today. He's like, no. I know how to absolutely paint when I need to. I just made some mistakes. Like that Josh Bell home run, for example. He missed with that fastball up and in. I remember I was watching it. And he went fastball up. He laid off it, and then all of a sudden, Josh Bell's just straight sitting on fastball and let it get a little deeper on him because it was up and away. And it was that perfect, absolute wheelhouse pitch for him. And I saw that a few times. And so I think with George Kirby, once he just gets out of the middle of the strike zone, which he will, and just cleans up some of these counts and wins some of these counts, man, it's going to be a complete light switch. I really believe that.
What was your takeaway from Bryce Miller's start? Because we were talking about it earlier, 4 innings, 3 runs, 1 walk, a home run, 71 pitches. It looks, if you're just looking at the line, very similar to the other starts this year, yet his commentary after the game was distinctly different, where he was talking just, we'd heard those cuts, Ryan, where he's like, I just don't feel good. I haven't felt good all year. And this one, he's like, hey, I felt great. I cut loose in that first inning, and I was, this pitch and that, everything felt good physically. So I guess that's the difference. But did you see a difference in terms of what he was doing out there on the mound?
Well, I said this when I saw him get activated. I'll be honest with you, and I've talked to you guys about this. Man, look, Bryce Miller is so good, and he is so important to this team, as we all know. For him, when you're talking that last 3 months, the second half, when the starting pitching is going to take this team and take it to October, in my opinion. I want to make sure that all the stuff he was dealing with and some of those post-game comments that you talked about, you referenced to, are in the rearview mirror. So I think watching him pitch, it wasn't this situation where you expect him, okay, well, if he's on paper, if he's healthy, he's off the IL, he's had a breather, he should be totally fine. There's still some elements with maybe it's some second guessing or whatever it may be. Now, I said this, and I'll be the first to say it. To Bryce Miller. I was kind of surprised that he didn't go to AAA and face some hitters at game speed and figure out, all right, with 2 strikes, if I can get this really good finish and extension and everything feels right on this split and it doesn't float up there, it's got that good late life, man, all of a sudden, what does that do to my confidence? And you do that a couple of times at AAA. And I don't want to hear anyone who's listening saying, oh, well, that's AAA. It's not the big. Trust me, those guys are really, really good in AAA. They're really tough hitters. And you do that, and 60 feet away, you get that reaction, regardless of what an iPad says or what a training staff says or anything. And you say, oh, okay, there it is, man. That's that big weapon. Now I can go fastball at the top of the strike zone, get that good finish on that split, be in the zone with it. Don't have to be perfect, and the bottom's going to fall out of it. I still, to me, watching him throw, I still don't think he's quite just there yet. He will get there. I was just a little surprised to see him come back the way as quick as he did, and to be out facing major league hitters with that mindset. I still feel like he's not quite sure what he's doing just yet.
Hey, we've been talking about Cal Raleigh pretty much all year. I mean, it's just been amazing. I think he's only got 1 error so far, and that's very Cal-like, obviously. But especially, with the number of times that he is, in the middle of it. But yeah, I mean, are you to the point where we were expecting him to hit a home run last night or yesterday? Up in the 9th inning, you're just thinking, oh, he's just going to do it. I mean, it's almost to that point now. What do you see that's making it almost easy for him? And I know it's not. I know it's incredibly difficult, but it's just like you expect a home run.
Yeah. Well, I was sitting 20 rows back. My bad, not bragging. Good seats right behind the plate. But I was sitting with Lennox, my 6-year-old. I was at the game in the seats yesterday. Just getting absolutely hounded by fans. It was like, no, I'm just kidding. Right now. Sorry, I'm trying to double down on my stupid jokes. No one can care less. I was having a blast, man. We had a boys' weekend. Lennox and I had a great weekend, and so I took Lennox to the game. We sat 20 rows back, and I said, "Oh, here comes Cal," And I'm not going to lie to you. I watched the at-bat prior to that, and I snuck upstairs because I had my computer upstairs in the radio booth. I was doing radio with Shannon, and I wanted to watch on the screen and kind of see how Paddock was going to face Cal, because he's getting to that territory the Aaron Judge territory, where it's like, if you don't have to pitch to him, don't. Open base, just don't. That's what he's getting to. And I'll give you a couple of reasons why in just a second. But I watched the at-bat prior to that, and, Chris Paddock got away with this little slider. So I'm thinking in the back of my head, I'm like, maybe Paddock in this situation next time he comes up, because it's still nothing at this point, maybe he will challenge him, but I'm curious here if he tries to just dump a breaking ball in there. And lo and behold, he did, and whack down and in. And I swear that I wish Lennox was here and I wasn't smashing pickleballs at him. But if Lennox was sitting here, he would. I swear to God, he walked up to the plate, and Lennox was all excited to watch him and Julio. Of course, all the kids love those players, right? Mm-hmm. And he rocks up, and I said, "Watch this." I said, "If he throws the ball over the plate." I said, if he tries to throw a curveball, he's going to smash this one. Because look, Lennox, a 6-year-old, doesn't want to watch someone walk, right? Yeah. Comes up, and Lennox is like, oh, you think so? I'm like, yeah, like I'm some expert. Walk it, and lo and behold, I'll tell you what, Daddy got some serious points, man, because Lennox was dialed in, whack, home run, and you could see Lennox's eyes follow that ball. And I'm sitting there going, why are you doing this? Why are you pitching to him? It's getting to that point. If you don't have to pitch to him, don't. Go at Randy. And I think Randy's got to be high-fiving Cal harder than anyone here, because he's going to get some pitches to hit coming here soon, because it is getting to a point, man, where there's really not those holes. And if there's a situation where, like, for example, when he's hitting lefty, breaking ball down under the hands outside the strike zone, a little bit of extra chase on that pitch. That's a bit of a a zone for him, you can get him. A couple other areas too. And then all of a sudden, that lasts for 2 days. And then, boom, all of a sudden, he's laying off that pitch. You got to come back in the strike zone. Whack. That's what you're starting to see from Cal. There's just this not this consistent way to get him out. And I was just shocked that, Chris Patty, hey, he pitched really well, and good for you for challenging him. But that pitch, man, I know you got away with one, the at-bat to strike him out, and a hanging slider before that. And he comes back in, breaking ball. I was like, oh, man. But, hey, good for him. That's what good hitters, the best, the elite hitters do. You make a mistake, first pitch, last pitch, they're going to get you.
What is your, we've been saying this whole season to this point, Munoz, he's going to give up a run at some point. Mm-hmm. He's not going to end the season with a 0 ERA. Right. So it happened. He got touched up a bit. He gave up 3 in one game, which, you could live with. It's going to happen. But the fact that he came out in his very next appearance and, the slider wasn't as sharp. He was having trouble locating it, gave up another run. Did you see anything that concerns you at all, or are we just looking at this? That's baseball, man.
Well, I'm laughing because before I even came on, I'm thinking to myself, what are they going to ask me? They're going to ask me about Randy Johnson. They're going to ask me about Cal, And I know you're at the VMAX, so you want me to get off so you can go back to your little football conversation until I get it. But,
our little football conversation.
But hey, I feel
like that was a shot at me.
I had it rattling around. It wasn't a shot at you, Dave, I promise. But I had it rattling around in my head that Bob is going to go straight up. Instead of bugging me about Everett Aquasox flyers of my camp, he is gonna say, "Hey man, he gave it up the first night. Why is he giving it up the second?" I just had that rattling around. Now listen, look, I was kind of shocked too yesterday. I thought, okay, with as good as Andres Munoz is, look, doesn't have to be perfect because he throws gas. However, he did this 2 days in a row, and I've seen this a little bit early on in the year. It takes him a little bit to find that slider. That slider is nasty, right? We all know that. But what I noticed the game when they were in the City Connect unis a couple nights ago when I was watching the video, and then watching him yesterday, the big thing, the reason that slider is so tough to hit is because you got to protect against 100. We know that. You got to protect against movement on that two seam. And you notice when he can throw a fastball, doesn't have to be perfect, but let's say middle away, and then that slider comes out of that same tunnel, out of that same chute, and then just takes a left turn. It is like guys missing by 3 feet. Not once yesterday. Actually once. He did it once. But in the last 2 days, there wasn't a situation where it was fastball. I'm just using this as an example. Fastball middle away, slider starts middle away, and then takes left turn. Or, fastball up, same tunnel, slider. They were completely different areas every time. So he'd go slider, miss it by a mile, spin out the side of his hand, fastball in the inner half of the plate. And so when you do that, and when you try and sequence, these hitters are so good, man. Even if you throw on 100, they can eliminate a pitch. And you notice the Twins, that not the whole inning, but for just enough, they're able, and they did it, for the last couple of days. They just eliminated that slider. It was like, all right, you're going to throw this pitch, whatever. I'm just sitting straight dead red because they didn't have to protect against the sequence of the fastball and slider, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. And so I've seen that a couple times, from him early on in the season, but he's been able to make that, that 20-second adjustment. Just didn't have a chance to make that adjustment the last 2 days. Again, bullpen arms, you guys said it. He's not going to have a 0 ERA at the end of the year. Once it's all said and done and he's sitting on 40 saves and you look back, oh, yeah, remember hey, Bob and Dave, remember back in May and at the end of May or whenever, June, whatever it was, you'll be like, oh, I don't think I remember that.
We'll be like, we were talking football, weren't we?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right. So, look, that happens. I was shocked to see it 2 days in a row because he's been so quick to make that adjustment on that slider and tunnel those two pitches, but he just couldn't for 2 days. He'll be good, though. He's all good.
Yeah. He is Ryan Rowland-Smith joining us each and every Monday talking Mariner baseball. And when you see him at a baseball game, let him. It's tough being him. Just let him enjoy his meal. Let him enjoy the game. Enough pictures, enough autographs.
We had a great little section, man. Everyone was high-fiving and everything. It was good. When Cal hit the home run, it was epic. Yeah.
Give the website again for the advertisement I saw in the men's restroom at the stadium there in Everett.
Well, it's all over. You can. My camps are awesome, man. It's me. I'm going as hard as I can. If I sound, like my voice is gone at night, the game, I've done a camp that day because I'm going hard with these kids. It's www.nxtgen, so nextgenbaseball.com. Check out the camps page, and Brian Wu is going to be hosting his own camp with me as well. August 4th. Kids can epic. I can't wait to hear what Brian Wu's got to tell these young kids, man. He's awesome. So I'm looking forward to, the future All-Star, to have him with some of my next-gen kids. That's going to be August 4th at Bellevue. I can't wait. Yeah, it's epic. It's on the page, and you can check it out. And, yeah, just no autographs. Don't be rocking up with autographs. It's a kids' camp, all right?
No,
so
relax. Can I come and just watch and go, hey, Brian, remember that game that you were really, that was cool, right?
Yeah, I would actually like to be able to just urinate without having to look at Ryan Rowland-Smith. I mean, I
didn't have that luxury.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, Funko Field. That's my old stomping ground. There's no way.
Yeah, it's a cool place, man. Ryan, we appreciate you, brother. Thanks so much, man.
Appreciate it. Thanks,
guys.
We'll
talk to you next week. There you go. There's Ryan Rowland-Smith with us each and every week. Always great stuff from him. And if you tuned into the middle of that, didn't catch it all, you'll find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Have you ever been out there to see the Aqua Sox?
I have not.
It's really, yesterday was like the perfect day. It was sunny. It was beautiful.
Day.
Wasn't too hot. Again, went with our guy Brent Stecker. Had a great time just chopping it up, watching baseball, watching some of the young guys that hopefully will be Mariner stars someday. And,
that's cool. I really should do that. I mean, and really, if you're a Mariner fan, it would be very cool to just go and kind of keep track of, 5 years from now, 4 years from now, you're like, oh, yeah, I remember I saw that kid.
Yeah, it was a weird game because the first 4 innings, neither team had a hit.
Yeah.
They were both throwing no-hitters. And then the floodgates opened, and it was like the Aqua Sox had 3 home runs in a row, and it was just, they ended up winning big. But it was an entertaining day. It was the Aqua Sox do a great job out there, so that was a lot of fun. Our weekly conversation with Ryan Rowland-Smith is presented by Mazda of Everett. Meanwhile, we're out here at the Virginia Mason Athletic Center having our little football conversation, as Ryan called it.
In your little football conversation.
Boy, he just came in with guns blazing, didn't he? Just firing shots out there.
It's always good stuff from him. Always good.
Yeah. But there's a lot going on out here. We're able to watch a bunch of what was happening out there on the field, a lot of the practice. We got a chance to see all 3 quarterbacks out there. We'll talk about who stood out in a good way, maybe who didn't stand out in such a great way, some of the young guys out there. There's a lot to cover out here. But before we get to the break, quickly, did you see anything you didn't expect individually? Like, whoa, who is that guy? Like, you had to look at you had the roster in your hand. Was there anybody that did something where you went, wait, who the heck is that?
Like, wow?
Just either way, good or bad.
Well, our guy Kenny Mack continues to just look fantastic. I mean, it's very it's a head scratcher, just because his rookie year we thought it was Pete, didn't like his style, whatever, and then last year, okay, different coach, maybe he doesn't like his style, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like that guy needs to get some carries, but
maybe it's a timing thing. Every time we see him, he does something well, and all the times he doesn't do well, we're not there.
We've watched a lot of football, man. I think you see him in games. I don't know what the problem is, but he did stand out. Now they're out there in shorts and jerseys, basically helmets.
Yeah, no hitting, they're not tackling, but we'll get into. There was a lot going on out there. We'll talk about what stood out in today's OTAs. All of that coming your way next with Wyman and Bob live from the Virginia Mason Athletic Center at Seattle Sports on 710.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10.
We got John Smoltz with us. If you had to describe this Mariner team in one sentence, what do you think they are so far?
If the Seattle Mariners find a way to score runs, they're going to be in the playoffs and they're going to be a dangerous team. When they get the confidence that they don't have to win 2-1, 1-0, that is a big time difference when you're looking at a team that everybody knows just needs to score runs to win.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors. They're a local company serving all of Western Washington, and they've been doing it for 23 years. When you hear Harley Exteriors, I want you to think windows, manufactured right here in Washington, specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. Olympic Series windows are offered exclusively by Harley Exteriors, and this is the window you want. It looks absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window, and these windows last up to 60 years. And they're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort, and they come with a double lifetime fully transferable warranty, meaning not only are you covered for glass breaking or damaged seals, it's going to help your resale and home value. It's very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And this June, buy 3 windows and get 1 free, plus an additional $200 off your entire project. Think Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in the Puget Sound. Call 833-HARLEY. That's HARLEY. Or you can go to harleyexteriors.com.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
The team at Mazda of Everett is always working hard to make your experience with their team exceptional. Mazda of Everett has over 700 new Mazdas in stock, tariff-free. It's the perfect time to buy a new Mazda. Visit our friends at Mazda of Everett on Highway 99 in Everett, or shop online at mazdaofeverett.com. Click the Mazda of Everett price where pre-tariff pricing still applies. Shop their tariff-free selection at Mazda of Everett.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
We've all been there, sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Dan. Dan, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
I had the same insurance company for 30 years and just accepted all the premium increases as inflation or feeling tethered to them because I have earthquake coverage and was uncertain about being able to get that anywhere else. But when I talked to Ken at First Mark, wow, he came back with bigger umbrella policy, better earthquake coverage, which I didn't think was possible. And when he came down with the premium number, it was a no-brainer. We were saving over $2,500 a year. Don't wait, because it's annoying to think of what I could have done with that money over the last 10 years had I done something sooner.
Well, Dan did it. My family did it. You got to do it, and it's totally free. Take the First Mark Challenge today. See how much money they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be the next First Mark Challenge victory that I get to talk to as well. Simply go to firstmarkinsurance.com, firstmarkinsurance.com.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and, of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Our thanks once again to Ryan Rowland-Smith, who joined us in the previous segment. In case you guys missed that conversation, you'll be able to find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. A reminder, our weekly conversations with Ryan Rowland-Smith are presented by Mazda of Everett. So right before the break, we are broadcasting live from the Virginia Mason Athletic Center. Seahawks have OTAs going on. We had a conversation with Julian Love earlier in the show. In case you're just tuning in, that'll be on the podcast page after the show as well. In honor of one of our texters. He's a really nice guy. He's a really nice guy. Just one of our texters doesn't like when we say that about everybody.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he really is.
We just got to call everybody a creep after they leave. What a jerk.
And I think people like that person don't appreciate how important that is.
Well, and
it is.
And don't appreciate how often guys aren't that way. you know, I mean, It stands out when somebody, and there's, lucky for us, there are a lot of good dudes. And he's a great conversation. I would think if you're a Seahawks fan, he's engaging. He's very fun to talk to. But he made a great play on a ball out there that Sam Darnold threw. Apparently, I was out there talking with Brady Henderson about that. But what else stood out to you? You brought up Kenny Mack.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's a bigger fan of him than you and I. We've just been pounding the table about what is going on. How come he doesn't get more opportunity? But what else? Anything, whether it's individuals, whether it's scheme, like, hey, I didn't know they were going to do this with the run game or this with the defense. What stood out to you?
Yeah, a couple of things. First of all, it was weird to see Cooper Kupp out there.
Yeah, in a Seahawks
uniform, number 10, just like in L.A. But yeah, I mean that to me is I'm really excited to see what he can do. Here's a weird little thing that I've never seen before, and I'm sure that there have been other teams, even high school teams, peewee teams, whatever, that do it. But I've never seen the offensive line work on fumble recoveries. And I'm like, that's pretty smart. Like I would have never thought of that. And we used to do it constantly. And I was talking to somebody out there that I recovered a fumble one time and perfectly executed the drill that we've been doing for 9 years, and it never came to fruition. and on that one play, so you never know what's going to happen, but it just kind of brings about the attention to detail because there are going to be fumbles on the ground. And if you're an offensive lineman, you need to figure out how to do it. A lot of times you see guys will pounce on it and, you end
up squirts out.
Yeah. So, I mean, just working on that technique, but really what I was watching was just the offensive line and that sort of wide zone that they run where it's almost like a sprint for the guards and really for the quarterback too when he does that really wide handoff. You run play action off of that, it makes it so hard on a linebacker. Because first of all, when you get that wide stretch, you're running guys kind of to the sidelines, and you're just opening gaps.
You're following. What's your duty as the linebacker there? You're going with the flow.
Yeah, you're just keeping in your gap. Now all of a sudden you're so you have the B gap. Now all of a sudden it's like 10, 12, 15 yards outside. And then, by the time the quarterback gets there, a lot of times, if he pulls that thing and he, is able to do it like, I always say Boomer Esiason was unbelievable because you couldn't see it on the field. You get a guy that can do, that, then that's going to open up the whole play action pass thing. So, I mean, it's obviously going to be about them being able to execute that offensively and get, the right angles and things like that. And we'll find out more about how they're going to run it as we see him go. And, Rick Dennison, who is the run game coordinator, is a guy I'm played with and or played against, and he was a coach at one point, and we'll kind of figure out what they're trying to do exactly. But man, to me, I'm just looking at it as a linebacker going, number one, you're getting me moving sideways instead of downhill, and then that it just creates opportunities and angles for blocks and stuff like that. But then also the play action game, also just looking at they have a lot of plays with fullbacks.
Yeah, saw a lot of that going.
Some lined up in I formation. I mean, I haven't seen that regularly since when I played. So, yeah, it's I think that the offense and how that is unveiled, I'm pretty confident about the defense that they can continue what they left off with at the end of the year.
Yeah,
because the second half they were really good. But yeah, as far as the offense goes, that's going to be the big mystery. That's going to be the thing. Can they get that done? And you and I saw Drew Lock threw a couple of passes that were ridiculously good.
He threw really good.
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
The one that was down the end zone away from us that we were watching, I saw the throw, and then my eyes are going back, and I'm like, please be Darnold. Please be Darnold. No.
It was Lock. And it was in a spot where basically he's double covered because there's a defender on one side and the sidelines there. So you got to drop it into this little box, if you will, and it was just teardrop right in that one spot where if it's a yard half yard this way, half yard the other way, nothing. It was a beautiful ball.
Well, and then he threw one in a red zone drill that they did that was like, it's kind of like some of those throws you see from Brock Purdy, where it's just like right down the middle and he's like threading the needle. You got these windows that are closing everywhere, and yeah, he just looked really good. But yeah, I mean, as far as players, that kind of stood out to me, him, McIntosh and Drew Lock. But other than that, I mean, I think this offense and how that comes together is going to be really important. I'm going to be interested to see. I talked to somebody who would know, and I was asking about Anthony Bradford because he's just the most intriguing lineman to me because he's so talented and so strong, but yet he just doesn't finish. And so, and I asked because I'm like, you got to have pretty athletic guards to get outside on that, that stretch play. And he said, absolutely, Anthony Bradford fits into this scheme very well. Very well. So yeah,
I hope so.
It'll be interesting because, I mean, you got to get the rest of that offensive line. We're kind of. It was good to see Abraham Lucas out there too.
Yeah.
I was kind of worried that they were going to put him on the shelf all during the offseason. So he looks pretty good. But again, if they can get Graze able to play not like a rookie, which I think he probably will, then you got three offensive linemen that you're really confident about. But it's just the center and that other guard position that's going to be kind of the battle.
We also saw something out there that I had never seen, which, it's not like I've spent my entire life around a football field, but you've grown up around it. You've been in the thick of it forever. They were out there running drills, and the majority of the players were running with a sheet of paper in their hand.
Yeah.
I had
never seen
all the camps, OTAs, everything we've been to. I've never seen that. And you were like, I was asking you, what is that? What are they doing? And you're like, I don't know. I haven't seen that before. And there were a whole group of guys all out there running the pattern, running the play. And they had in one hand a sheet of paper.
Well, I mean, I don't think it could be a couple of different things. It could be that, if this guy drops here, then you run this or whatever. But it's definitely a scout team because they were wearing the little
the caps
or caps or whatever. Yeah. And so, I mean, what they used to do is hold up plays so the defense can't see it. And then you'd look at the play and go, okay, I do this, run that. So maybe they just put that on paper.
That was just
I'm not sure.
It was odd to see. It was not a folded piece of paper. You see this flapping piece of paper, and the guy's running a route, and in one hand is this paper. And then,
well, yeah, and you'd think of it like they would fold it and put it in their pocket or something. They're running down the field with paper in their hands.
Yeah, it was. I'd never seen that before.
Yeah.
But, maybe that's, I don't know. Maybe it is the play. They're getting used to what the play calls are or whatever. It was just, that was something unique that stood out. But overall, the curiosity will remain on the offensive side. We're certainly watching the quarterbacks. Watched a few balls from Jalen Milroe that were not awesome. The ones I saw, a little off the mark. Again, I only saw probably 4 or 5 passes of his in total. Drew Lock, to me, is the one that truly stood out, just in terms of a wow moment. They have a big screen out there that is replaying the play. And what was funny is after that touchdown, that one we were just talking about, all the reporters kind of came out from the sideline to get in front of that screen to watch it again. Like, whoa, okay, let's take a look at that. And it was just beautiful, beautiful ball. I don't know how much you're really going to glean from what's going on out there, but it was kind of cool to see that, see what he's capable of, and see some of the other guys out there that you're curious about.
There's just lots of teaching going on, and for a second year, it's really, 2 years in a row of the decreased volume of music out at camp really makes me happy.
It was funny because you could hear the bass of whatever it was they were playing, but you couldn't hear. I couldn't tell you what song, who it was. You just heard.
Yeah. Yeah, they have it way turned down.
Yeah.
So, and look, they're out there to do that. They're out there to coach. And Pete had a different philosophy, and that was more about adrenaline and things like that, getting the juice flowing. So,
yeah.
But I do like that, like I said, it's like a classroom out there.
Hey, if you missed any part of the show, you just want to go watch things over again, you can check out our Wyman and Bob channel on the Seattle Sports YouTube page, and you can search for Seattle Sports, Wyman and Bob Stelton, on all social media platforms like X, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, all of that. We're on there. So all the conversations, interviews, all that, it's right there for you. One-stop shop. Meanwhile, tomorrow marks the start of a pivotal stretch for this Mariner team. We'll explain why. Coming up as we continue live from the Virginia Mason Athletic Center with Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
What a weekend.
Swinging a ground ball up the middle, base hit.
The Mariners' resilient shine.
A walk-off single. Julio scores.
The big dumper unloads.
Cal Raleigh does it again.
Tomorrow night, the homestand continues with a first of 3 against the Orioles at T-Mobile Park. First pitch at 6:40 on the home of the Mariners and the AL West race. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Have you been considering surgery or even joint replacement? It's Dave Wyman here, and after years of football, I know all about bad knees. So I recently had a consultation with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine, and I've heard so many patients rave about stem cell therapy with Dr. Wagner. People with severe osteoarthritis, even bone on bone. They're back hiking, jogging, playing tennis, skiing, golfing, even just going up and down the stairs with the kids and grandkids, and doing it without pain and without surgery. Dr. Wagner's 60-minute outpatient procedure uses your own stem cells, which can regenerate your own cartilage in your own joints. Dr. Mark Wagner is a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience, and he's performed over 20,000 stem cell procedures. And he's one of the few doing it the right way. So whether it's a shoulder, hip, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Get the facts, then get back in the game at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text BODY to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text BODY to 321-321. That's BODY to 321-321.
Guys, tired all the time? Gaining weight? Low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. This June, for Men's Health Month, Revive Men's Health in Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. No guessing, just answers. Over 100,000 men have trusted Revive to get real results. More energy, better sleep, improved mood, and confidence that shows. If something feels off, don't wait. Take control and protect your long-term health by knowing your numbers. This offer ends June 30th. Schedule your free comprehensive wellness panel today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Feel better. Live stronger. Start now.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Immaculate greens, unrivaled natural beauty, championship caliber conditions. Loomis Trail is the epitome of Northwest golf. With water in play on nearly every hole and tree-lined fairways, Loomis Trail provides a fantastic golf experience for those that want a challenge and those looking for a fun getaway. What round are you up for? Tee times available online at golfloomis.com. Start planning your perfect golf getaway today.
The team at Mazda of Everett is always working hard to make your experience with their team exceptional. Mazda of Everett has over 700 new Mazdas in stock, tariff-free. It's the perfect time to buy a new Mazda. Visit our friends at Mazda of Everett on Highway 99 in Everett or shop online at mazdaofeverett.com. Click the Mazda of Everett price where pre-tariff pricing still applies. Shop their tariff-free selection at Mazda of Everett.
Underestimating the trucking industry is one of the biggest mistakes I see victims and other lawyers make. Trucking companies have an army of lawyers and experts who act quickly after an accident to protect the company. Only an experienced trucking accident lawyer can navigate the complicated federal and state laws to protect your rights. If you or a loved one has been injured in a trucking accident, call Davis Law Group today for a free consultation or get my free book on trucking accident law at washingtonaccidentbooks.com.
Spring is back, our bats are back. Is your postnasal drip and congestion back as well? Hi, this is Dr. Ryan Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. We are a proud national center of excellence for helping hundreds of patients with Rynair. For those of you sick of searching for another allergy medication, Rynair is a minimally invasive procedure that significantly reduces postnasal drip, congestion, and stuffiness after only one treatment. Come see us in Auburn or Federal Way. Book your appointment at sternsinus.com. That's sternsinus.com.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Text line is there for you at 866-979-3776. Mariners with the day off today. Took the series from the Minnesota Twins to even the mark at home, 3-3 on this 9-game homestand. You got the Baltimore Orioles who are coming to town, who they've been one of the bigger stories in the league for the wrong reason, because they were really good last year and they've got this really young core of what seems like, next level talent. They're all these soon to be superstars, blah, blah, blah. And they have been brutal this year. They are 22-36, and that's after they swept the White Sox. They just swept Chicago coming into Seattle. So we'll see. You got Kirby, Hancock, and Wu going in this series. And the one I think probably most people are curious about would be Kirby. At least I am. I'm most interested to see, okay, is this where he takes that significant step forward, where he looks similar? I don't expect him to be prime Kirby, but he can't be what he's been in the previous starts. We've got to see that growth. We've got to see that improvement.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to sound spoiled, but I want to get back to last year where, when the rotation was intact and, you had a guy who could be your ace or an ace on other teams up almost every night. I mean, it was interesting to hear Ryan Rowland-Smith. He's always been a huge Kirby fan. Mm-hmm. Like when during the offseason, I remember we were talking about, who could bring the most back as far as a trade goes. And he was like 1,000%, it's Kirby. That was the guy you would get, the most for. So he's always been a big fan of his. But for him to say, hey, he's going to be just fine. That, and hopefully, I know Ryan's right like 99% of the time. Hopefully this isn't the 1%, but yeah, I mean, I just am going to be at ease, much more at ease when those guys are back, including Miller. And it sounds like Bryce Miller is the things he's saying that he's pretty positive, but and look, maybe Wu has a bad outing every once in a while, but like just not being able to have that rotation right now has really been, I feel like they probably would have won another 5 to 10 games, if they had a healthy rotation.
Yeah, well, they certainly would have won more games than they. I mean, for everything they've had to overcome, they're still sitting there in first place.
Yeah,
it's half game, and that lead shrank certainly, and it's been touch and go. You lost first place for a bit. Astros had it, they lost, you won, you're back. So maybe that's a lot of what we're going to see is them jockeying back and forth. But if you got a full healthy 5 going each and every fifth day, yeah, you feel like there's a number of wins that have gone into the loss column that would have that they certainly would have been in that win column with their regular rotation. Having said that, you did get a great start out of Logan Evans before you sent him down, and Emerson Hancock has been kind of the king of the quality start. He's not a guy who's going to go out there and dominate and give you 8 shutout innings and pile up the strikeouts, but he's more often than not, he's keeping this team in the game and giving them a chance to win. So, it's despite all of that, despite feeling like, hey, I feel okay when he's out there. I feel okay when Evans, he's got a much smaller resume certainly, but you want your guys out there. And, I too believe Ryan says he's going to be fine. I'm going to trust in that. I'm sure the team says the same thing. It's just a matter of, all right, when do we start to see that progression? When do we start to see Kirby take that next step and maybe he gives you 6 and gives up 2 or 3, gives you a quality start?
Right.
I don't, is that too much to ask in this next one, quality start against a team that frankly is just not playing well, even though they're coming off a sweep of the White Sox. They've just been a major disappointment this year. So I feel like this is a team I don't ever expect to sweep, but I expect a series win that you take 2 of 3.
Yeah, just to kind of wash out the taste of that Washington series still is just, especially the way you started. Did they win 9-0 the first 9 or 8-0? I mean, it was ridiculous. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to see, especially Kirby, get him back. It was just odd watching him out there kind of struggle. You just so not used to seeing that from Kirby. So, yeah, I mean, that's the one I really like hearing that from Ryan Rowland-Smith. But we'll see if it materializes. But he has a pretty good sense for it, and I know that he's been a big Kirby fan all along. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, hopefully we don't have one of those head scratching series where you're like, how did they drop 2 to the Orioles?
Yeah, don't say that. Don't speak that into existence, Dave, with your super jinx powers that you've had on display.
Kind of power. Wish I did. I'd go to Vegas.
Yeah. There would be a lot of winning going on there. Yeah, it's look. I give them all the credit in the world for their ability, and some of it is the division. It's not a strong division this year. You got to acknowledge that if we're being honest about it. But they could have easily folded when you look at all of the injuries they've had to overcome to such crew. I mean, the rotation. You had 2 healthy starters from last year's 5.
Yep.
Going for a good chunk of this season. We've talked about all the position players that have been hurt, and then, watching Polanco just go from superstar April into just the toilet bowl in May. I'm anxious to see what happens with him. People are texting in before, he's clearly not healthy. I think he is. I think he might be as healthy as he's been all year because they're letting him hit from the right side, and they're still running him out there. I think they feel okay throwing Dylan Moore or somebody else in that spot, even though, you don't have the same potential as you did with Polanco, the way he hit in April. But I don't know. I think he's just struggling. I don't think it's injury.
Yeah. Another person I just wanted to mention, didn't do a lot this series, Ben Williamson. I mean, his average is at 250, and I know that you say that the corners, first and third need to have a power bat, and he doesn't really have that. I sure have just enjoyed the hell out of watching him play defense. Mm-hmm. I mean, that throw he made on the run the other day. I mean, he's had a couple of low throws, nothing Tellez can't handle, but he's just been phenomenal watching him play defense. Now, I'd like to see him hit for power. He got. He had 2 games. He didn't have any hits, but he went 2 for 3 on Saturday and, had a double. And so, I mean, no RBIs out of that, but I I think he's pretty solid, and he just seemed like kind of a pipe dream at the beginning of camp during spring training. That we're like, maybe this kid can make it. I don't know about his offense. His defense is good, and they were right about that. But we'll see if he's able to, maybe find a little bit more power. But I don't think that's necessarily who he is.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out. I mean, you're right. He's playing very good defense. He's come up with some timely hits, but yeah, we haven't seen that. Yeah. He's got 1 home run on the season, so we'll see if that changes at all as he gets more games under his belt. Meanwhile, it was a source of much controversy for many months on our show. We'll finally get some answers to it. I'll tell you what we're talking about. Coming up next with Wyman and Bob, live from the Virginia Mason Athletic Center. It's Seattle Sports on 710.
It's the next phase of the Seahawks offseason. OTAs.
Jansen, he's going 40.
And 30. Seattle Sports is all over it.
The Seahawks, they're into it now.
The one thing about Mike McDonald is he knows exactly what he wants to do.
Wyman and Bob are live from the VMAC all afternoon. Complete insider coverage at seattlesports.com, the Seattle Sports YouTube channel, and the Seattle Sports app. We are the home of the Seahawks. Seattle Sports.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Do you have a car you'd like to sell but don't want to go through all the hassle? With all the scams and security risks out there, more and more people are uncomfortable selling their own car. So how do you get the most money for your used car without selling it yourself? Stacy here with the answer. Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Not only will they purchase your car and pay you right up front for it, but it gets way better. Once they resell your old car, they share half the profit with you. The question I get most from my friends and colleagues is, what's the catch? And how can they offer this? It's super simple. All the money they save by not traveling to buy cars at auctions, like purchase fees, shipping, and travel expenses, is what allows them to offer this. They'd rather share that money they save with you than outside vendors. They encourage you to shop around, but if Wayscar Ford can pay you the same or more as their competitors and then share half their profit with you once they resell your car, why would you sell your car anywhere else? They've already shared over $800,000 with customers, and it's only at Wayscar Ford. That's wayscarford.com, Wayscar Ford in Auburn.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. Olympic Series windows are offered exclusively by Harley Exteriors, manufactured right here in Washington, specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. This is the window you want. It looks absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window, and these windows last up to 60 years. They're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort. They come with a double lifetime, fully transferable warranty, meaning not only are you covered for glass breaking or damaged seals, it's going to help your resale and home value. Very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And this June, buy 3 windows and get 1 free, plus an additional $200 off your entire project. Think Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in the Puget Sound. Call 8-333-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Pro Paint Days are back at Lowe's, and My Lowe's Pro Rewards members can save even more with limited time deals. Right now, buy one, get one half off. Select HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams Primer and Ceiling Paint. Plus, get free same-day delivery to your job site when you order by 2 p.m. Offer valid through 6/13. Delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Additional terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Well, the Mariners have the day off today after taking the series from the Minnesota Twins. They'll welcome the Baltimore Orioles tomorrow for game one of the 3-game series. You can catch all of the action of that one starting here with Seattle Sports on 710. Meanwhile, some good news coming the Mariners' way today. Cal Raleigh has been selected as the American League Co-Player of the Week for May 26th through June 1st, along with Tampa Bay Rays infielder Junior Caminero. It's the first weekly award of Raleigh's career. During this week, he hit .348, scored 6 runs, hit 6 home runs, drove in 10, 1 stolen base, got on base at a .444 clip, slugging .1130 with a .1575 OPS. Massive week for Cal Raleigh. Congratulations to him. Meanwhile, game's going on right now. They're headed to the top of the second in Miami, where the Marlins are out to a 3-1 lead over the Rockies, who are 9-50 on the season. So still yet to get to double-digit wins in Colorado. Games getting set to get underway. The Red Sox hosting the Angels, Reds and Brewers in Cincinnati. White Sox, on the heels of being swept by the Orioles, host the Detroit Tigers. It's the Giants and Padres in San Francisco. A's host the Twins, and the Dodgers play host to the New York Mets.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
We are live at the Virginia Mason Athletic Center with Wyman and Bob. Seattle Sports on 710. Seahawks are wrapped up for the day. If you're just tuning in, we had Julian Love join us on the show in the first hour, and great conversation with him.
Super nice guy.
Super nice guy. Really good guy. But yeah, he really is, actually, and he's very engaging, as we said. Always a great conversation. So you can check that out on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com if you missed it. But something we were having a lot of fun with is the Seahawks honoring the top 50 Seahawks players of all time in honor of their 50th year as an organization. Yeah. And we were going through our own voting and trying to figure out, all right, well, Dave's got 12 running backs, I've got 3, all that stuff, and how many we were going to. They gave a list of eligible players for each position group, and it was based on either starts or what was like a very notable performance. Was
if you did something that was like particularly unique, I can't remember. Oh, Malcolm Smith, who was the Super Bowl MVP. Yeah, didn't have the number of starts or anything like that. So yeah, something like that, or a Pro Bowler, I think, because I think Bobby Joe Edmonds made it because he was a Pro Bowl returner one year.
Yeah, so they did it by position group, obviously quarterbacks, running backs, blah, blah, you go down the list. Well, they're unveiling the winners, after the fan vote, but they're doing it by position group, so they're not just putting the whole list. Today they released the running backs and defensive backs. So the winners, I guess, for the running back spot, Sean Alexander.
No surprise.
Marshawn Lynch.
Of course.
Our guy Max Strong.
I love that. Mac didn't have the numbers and everything, but like what he did while he was here and on special teams, and he was also just like one of the great leaders of this team. And I just remember that offensive line, Sean Alexander carrying the ball with Max Strong as a lead blocker, because they would, line up in I formation a lot of times. That was just a money play. I remember, again, like we talk about with Tyler Lockett, or Cal Raleigh, when he doesn't hit a home run. I remember they had a 3rd and short against the then Washington Redskins, and they lined up in I formation like I just described, ran over the side with Hutch and Walter Jones, with Max Strong leading blocker out of I formation, and they didn't pick it up. And I remember going, how does that happen?
Yeah.
And, somebody got beat, obviously, but it was just such an automatic play that, so yeah, I love that they have Max Strong in there.
Yeah, by the way, I found the criteria here for making the list. So either started at least 45 games, voted to an AP All-Pro or NFL Pro Bowl team, won Seahawks Man of the Year or Steve Largent Award, currently leads a career major statistical categories such as most receiving yards in a career, and then the last one is part of an iconic moment in Seahawks history. So that's how you were able to get on this list to be voted upon, just for clarity there.
So Sean Alexander, one that stands out to me, Bob, here, Chris Warren. Chris Warren ran during the 90s when it was not a good time for Seahawk football.
Yeah.
The 90s were not good. Not good. So 1993, he ran for over 1,000. 94, 95, he was a Pro Bowler all 3 of those years, Chris Warren was. So,
and at one point, he set the rushing record in the Pro Bowl.
Oh.
I think he had it for might have been just one season, but he did have it.
Back when they played football.
That's exactly right. Yeah, so Chris Warren, Kurt Warner, guy we've had on the program, a former teammate. Yeah. Was he a teammate of yours? He was done before you were there.
No, Kurt.
He was still there?
A couple years, yeah.
Yeah, and then John L. Williams.
I love that one too. John L. is very underrated in this, in this. I would say in Seahawk history. There's,
what was his nickname?
Chumley.
Chumley.
Yeah. Come on, Mr. Whoopi, let's go. Come on, Chumley. Yeah, he was. He looked. If you look up Chumley, his shoulders were kind of droopy. He was not your finely tuned athlete.
Yeah. He wasn't body beautiful.
I loved John L., man. He was so reliable. He had the hands of a receiver. It's so soft. And then I remember in the championship game to win the AFC West against the Raiders, he ran for like a 90-yard screen play, and he could haul too. He was a pretty good blocker as well. But yeah, he was just part of a lot of really big moments when I played. And yeah, John L., just a good teammate. I went fishing with him and Dave Craig one time, and those guys, I thought we were going to have beers and chat. Those guys were like serious fishermen. Like they were just out there like constantly the whole time, no time for conversation or anything. And that's what, John L. Williams would step off the bass boat and into camp, because he would play his way into shape in camp, but he would always show up overweight, and he worked his tail off, and he would get back. But yeah, I think he just sat in a fishing boat his entire off season.
Before we move on to the defensive backs, those are the 2 position groups they unveiled today: running backs and DBs. Before we move on to DBs, any running backs you feel like you're surprised they didn't get more?
Yeah, I'm trying
more love, more mention.
Who would that be? Maybe like Dan Dornick. I know back in the day. I don't know that he put up big numbers, but he's a special team guy.
Yeah.
I can't really think
I don't know. You had Chris Carson. You had, obviously, you had Rashad Penny.
Yeah, I don't think they left many behind on this.
CJ Procise.
Yeah. Procise always hurt.
Yeah. A lot of talent, but just, couldn't stay healthy. All right, so there, again, Sean Alexander, Marshawn Lynch, Max Strong, Kurt Warner, Chris Warren, John L. Williams.
Okay, pick one out of that group.
Your most accomplished is Sean Alexander. I know he's very polarizing for people, and, he's soft and this. He scored a lot of touchdowns and ran for a lot of yards, but, I mean, I don't know. I would love to have seen who Kurt Warner would have been if not for that knee injury.
Yeah.
And he had you go back and look at his career. He had a couple of nice years after that, but that seemed to be the prevailing thought that once that knee injury happened, that it altered his fortunes, much like Gale Sayers and people like that. But
yeah, my problem was just the style of play, and I remember
Kurt Warner.
No, I'm talking about for Sean Alexander. I just. There was just lots of times where he would run out of bounds and he wasn't going to take a hit. He couldn't block. So, I mean, when he was in the game, they knew he was going to be involved because he was not a good pro as far as pass pro goes.
Who would be your guy in that group?
I'm going Marshawn.
Marshawn.
Yeah, just a epitome of effort and just sacrifice. I mean, I loved Marshawn.
All right, so we move on to DBs. So they're including safeties in this, by the way. So DBs, they've got Dave Brown, Cam Chancellor, Kenny Easley, John Harris, Eugene Robinson, Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, Marcus Trufant, and Devin Witherspoon.
How about that?
Spoon got in. He was a Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have the starts. He doesn't have an iconic moment. I mean, he's had some brilliant plays, certainly, but I guess he's eligible by virtue of being a Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying he's not worthy. He just doesn't have a resume really yet to compare to the other guy in terms of length of resume. But yeah, that would be the one surprise for me. Not that he doesn't deserve it, just that he's so young in his career. The one I'm not familiar with is John Harris.
Yeah.
What era did he play?
He played in the original Legion of Boom, which those guys had like 68 takeaways, I think.
That was Moyer and Brown and Easley.
Moyer was there, and he used to rave about John Harris, how John, he's a safety, he would just sit there and talk through football with Moyer and, just all the things. But he had 50 interceptions in his career, but when he was in Seattle, in 1 year, he had 10 interceptions as a free safety. So, yeah, that guy. But if you go and look at the numbers of Dave Brown, John Harris, and who's the other one? I'm forgetting.
Moyer.
Yeah, Moyer. I'll tell you what. I played with Moyer. He had 6 picks 1 year when he was, started every game. But me and Bob Condotta called it the original Legion of Boom. Those guys were really good, a really good group as far as taking the ball away. And you add Kenny Easley in there, it's a really good group. So yeah, I thought this one was right. I'm glad John Harris got in there.
Who would be your pick out of that? Now maybe it should be 2 because it's cornerbacks and safety.
Yeah, corner. I'm going with Sherm.
Yeah,
I just think his physicality and just how he would hit you, and I just loved the way he played. Loved it.
Plus, he brought he was a presence. He brought an attitude to this team. And safety, I'm torn between Cam and Kenny Easley.
Yeah.
I obviously saw much more of Cam. I just remember having the Kenny Easley poster on my wall, the Kostakos brothers one, where I think it said the Enforcer or something like that. He just looks menacing. He's got the tape all the way up the forearm and the cutoffs. He's wearing like a vest, and
he was like that.
He looks nasty.
He was like that a lot of the time. Whenever I picture Kenny Easley, he's not smiling.
Yeah,
at all. So yeah, I mean, he was pretty ferocious.
Who would be your guys there?
I took Sherm, and then I'm gonna take, I'm gonna go with Earl Thomas. I thought Earl just covered so much ground. It was ridiculous. And he had kind of a Spoon-like character in that, he was just always flying around. I mean, his body was never resting. It was just always flying around the field. And yeah, so I'm going to go with Earl.
Yeah.
How about you like? You like?
Yeah, I'm going Sherm, and then I'm going to go Cam.
Yeah.
I think it can't look. And Earl was a missile, as you just talked about. He would just appear out of if you're watching on TV, he's not in the picture, and all of a sudden he comes flying in, and he's part of the play there. I mean, he was just a phenomenal player. Cam, I just loved that he was so quiet. He didn't say a word, but we talked about Kenny being menacing. Cam was menacing. And the opposition knew when he was on the field. And they were, the hit on Vernon Davis, the hit in the Super Bowl on, who was that, Demaryius Thomas?
Yes.
He just had so many moments. He had, when he pulled that helmet off, it was against the Eagles, I think. He came up with the helmet in his hand. I mean,
You thought maybe the guy's head was in it?
Yes. I mean, and he would be out there just pounding, he was a presence.
Yeah.
But he wasn't, Sherm was very verbal and loud. He didn't say anything. Yeah. But, he had the tinted visor on. You could never see his eyes. And he looked like a villain in a superhero movie or something like, oh, no, here he is.
Yeah.
And I loved Cam. And I'd seen more of him than Kenny. Kenny would probably be the other one that I'd want to throw, but that's more nostalgic for me as a little kid having that poster on my wall. But yeah, I'll go with Cam there.
Yeah, well, and then for the snubs, I'm just going to throw our guy Paul Moyer out there.
Yeah.
Any snubs I can think of. I think Moyer, I was looking at his stats, and I, of course, remember the year that him and I started together. It was my first year starting. Because I remember when I was a rookie, he wouldn't even talk to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he ended up with 11 interceptions, but I know he scored a couple of he had a pick six, but I think also he scored on either a blocked punt or a blocked field goal or something like that. So, and he was just a very smart player. Obviously became a coach and now he's part of the, Hall of Fame on the Wyman and Bob show. So,
that's right.
But yeah, I mean, it's probably him, and I think his is the start thing. And I remember talking to him about it. He's like, I couldn't get on the field. He goes, it would be like if you're a safety sitting behind Cam and Earl Thomas.
Yeah.
You had Eugene Robinson out there as well. So
yeah,
it's tough to get on the field.
What about? I'm thinking of some of the guys that came through when it was the Legion of Boom this era. Byron Maxwell, Brandon Browner, Walter Thurmond.
I loved Maxie.
I love Browner when he was in his heyday, just because he just didn't care, man. He was he was always on the edge of a personal foul. I mean, he was physical in practice. He was physical. I'd love that he personified that Legion of Boom attitude.
Yeah, he was just always pissed off.
Yeah,
and
he played angry.
I remember asking him a question too one time, and he's like, "What? What did you say?" He kind of frowned at me. I was like, "Oh, nothing. Sir.
Nothing, sir. I was speaking to the gentleman behind you. Sorry for the confusion."
Remember when Terrell Owens came in? You couldn't find a parking spot anywhere around the VMAC, and so the very first time they went one-on-one, Browner pushed his way to the front and like, I'll take care of this. And he got up there and he just grabbed him and slammed him down.
Welcome to Seattle.
And Terrell Owens just took it, got up and walked to the back of the line.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just remember going, hey, look out. I got this one.
I got this guy.
Yeah. And so, yeah, he just, and I remember him doing that on the sidelines against Green Bay. I think it was a Monday night game. And he just picked up the receiver and just slammed him on his head. And I'm like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
That's a penalty.
I know you want to do it.
Yeah.
You can't.
But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe it sent a message. They end up winning that game. But, yeah, it was he was an enforcer.
Yeah, there was a lot of that.
How many times would you say that about that position? Who would ever say a cornerback is an enforcer?
You wouldn't.
That dude is one of one, as they say.
Yeah. Who else? Babs? Big game Babs? Big play Babs?
Yeah, how do you not put Babs in there? I mean,
he's not there.
I just remember that was about the time that I started covering the team and doing pre and post and everything, and it was remarkable. You can go through, and we wrote that, Bob Condotta and I, in the book. We went through every single thing that he did, whether it was a touchdown, a block kick. Sometimes it was just a tackle. I think he got the tackle on Tony Romo when they beat the Cowboys, and it was like a blocked field goal or something, and Romo picked it up and started to run. Babs makes the play. I mean, he just was everywhere.
Yeah, it's
so yeah. That's another good one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if we left anybody else out of here. Nobody's. You guys can text in if you think from running backs. These are the guys that made it: Sean Alexander, Marshawn Lynch, Max Strong, Kurt Warner, Chris Warren, and John L. Williams. Defensive backs, which include safeties, Dave Brown, Cam Chancellor, Kenny Easley, John Harris, Eugene Robinson, Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, Marcus Trufant, and Devin Witherspoon. So text in any omissions that you think somebody was worthy of being on this list that did not make it at either of those two spots. 866-979-3776.
One more thing about Babineau. If you go look at his stats, okay, he's got 12 interceptions in, 9 years, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's just okay. It wasn't about that. It was when he did it. When he made plays, they were always in these high leverage situations where it either won a game for him or, it was pretty uncanny how he just had that clutch gene.
Now, would you say Thorold Simon is an omission?
Thorold Simon, darn. The best player that never was. I remember listening
Sherm loved him.
Sherm, and I remember watching him in practice, and I'm like, this dude's good. He was really good. And then to hear that kind of endorsement from Sherm, it was, that was, but it just
Didn't pan out.
Never materialized.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
Yeah, there's
Maxwell, we were talking about Byron Maxwell. Do you remember, I think it was against Carolina, the punch out that he had where it was like so precisely done. Like I know Peanut Tillman is the one that, perfected that, and he's probably done that a number of times, but I just remember he was really good at that. I think he forced probably 4 or 5 fumbles, but I think of all of the other, that was like the rotating spot for the Legion of Boom. He was my favorite.
Maxwell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maxie.
It seemed like guys would thrive in that spot, and then they'd move on to another team and not thrive. Because he went to Miami after here, right?
Yep.
Maxwell, and didn't Walter Thurman go to the Giants?
I thought Thurman, you might be right. But it was kind of a rotating door there for that other corner position. And
obviously Browner went, I think, New Orleans first, then New England? Or was it New England first, then New Orleans? I think it went to New England first, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. He probably had the most success, I would guess, of those guys that went on to other teams.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, that was, Now I'm just stuck on Babineau, though, because I mentioned Moyer, but, Babs and just, and text it in, 866-979-3776 if you remember – big plays at Babineau. Just off the top of my head, the tackle of Tony Romo, that was going to be a touchdown probably. And then, there was just a number of other things. I remember against the Rams, it seemed like he always made a play. So big play Babs rightfully tagged that name.
Yeah. Somebody saying Jeremy Lane.
Yeah.
Honorable mention to Ken Hamlin. Trufant's on there. Somebody said, what about Marcus Trufant? He's on there. Is he not?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
And so is Chris Warren, somebody said.
Yeah. Sean Springs.
Yeah, Sean Springs. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned Ricky Waters.
Yeah.
Jeremy Lane, the one thing that I think about every time I hear his name is that horrible broken arm that he got in the Super Bowl.
That was the arm and the knee, right? At the same time?
Yeah, at the same time, somebody hit him, and he didn't even notice it until later. But his arm snapped in half on the field. But more importantly, that's when Thorold Simon came in the game, and everything went to hell. I mean, they were. I mean, he had an interception, and that was on that play. So he gets a pick in the end zone, and if he would have just taken a knee there, we'd have won that game.
Yeah, Thorold Simon. That's all I remember is him always gesturing to the ref. He's pushing off.
Yeah.
He's pushing off. He was always he's pushing off. I'm like, okay, dude.
Yeah.
At some point, that's not the reason this isn't happening for you.
Yeah, that was. I mean, and a lot of people say it. I would say, when Cliff Averill got the concussion, in Super Bowl 49, and he had to go out.
That killed him.
I just think Jeremy Lane more than anything. If I could go back and change one thing, Jeremy Lane healthy. I mean, because the drop-off was significant.
Yeah.
And if you're not getting a pass rush all the time, I mean, it's kind of a bonus getting sacks and everything, but if you can't cover against Tom Brady, then you're screwed.
All right, coming up, we're unveiling a new way to analyze our concerns about this Mariner team. That's coming your way next with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
What a weekend.
Swinging a ground ball up the middle, base hit.
The Mariners' resilient chives.
A walk-off single. Julio scores.
The big dumper unloads.
Cal Raleigh does it again.
Tomorrow night, the homestand continues with a first of 3 against the Orioles at T-Mobile Park. First pitch at 6:40 on the home of the Mariners and the AL West race. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
Hey guys, did you know that half of men over age 50 have erectile dysfunction on some level? Whether you have mild, moderate, or severe ED, West Coast Men's Health can help. We don't prescribe pills and hope they work. Instead, we treat the root cause of the problem with acoustic wave therapy, which breaks down plaque, unclogs arteries, and restores blood flow. We have treated thousands of men across our 11 locations nationwide and have established ourselves as a leader in the industry. So whether you have ED, Peyronie's disease, or suffer from chronic pain, such as neuropathy, carpal tunnel, or Dupuytren's contracture, West Coast Men's Health can help. No pills, no shots, no surgery, just results.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call West Coast Men's Health at 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Hey, it's Graz here. Getting a quick round or range session in before work makes the day so much more fun and is a big-time stress reliever. Take advantage of one of the 11 local premier courses nearby. Inner Bay, Jackson, Bill Wright, West Seattle, Cedar Crest, Bellevue, Linwood, Walter Hall, Legion Memorial, Lake Padden, and their newest course, the Ocean Shores Golf Course. Practice on the range with Top Tracer at Jackson, Inner Bay, and Bill Wright Golf Complex. Play the courses, play virtual, play premier, premiergolfcenters.com.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. Olympic Series windows are offered exclusively by Harley Exteriors, manufactured right here in Washington, specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. This is the window you want. It looks absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window, and these windows last up to 60 years. They're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort. They come with a double lifetime, fully transferable warranty, meaning not only are you covered for glass breaking or damaged seals, it's going to help your resale and home value. Very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And this June, buy 3 windows and get 1 free, plus an additional $200 off your entire project. Think Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in the Puget Sound. Call 8-333-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.
The home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
When you bundle renters and auto with Progressive, you can save while protecting your most valuable possessions, like your really expensive limited edition sneakers and your new suit for your cousin's wedding. Except you never actually bought the suit because you can't stop buying sneakers. So you show up to the wedding looking like you're going grocery shopping. But hey, at least your sneakers will look good in the pictures. Until you're cropped out of every last one of them. So go ahead and get Progressive, so you can save while protecting the things that matter to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies to same item. Current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen, and PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Text line is there for you, 866-979-3776. Before we get into our Mariner conversation, a quick couple of names that people added on the text line when we were talking about the Seahawks top 50, maybe some of the omissions. And again, a reminder, it was just running backs and defensive backs that were unveiled today. So we had somebody sending in Joey Galloway and people like that. Yeah. We'll see when they unveil the other position groups. But what about where did it go? Sherman Smith. That was a name I forgot.
Oh
about.
yeah. Remember, Sherman Smith was part of that story where he coached the kid that was actually his son, and he didn't know it.
Oh,
do you remember that?
I don't recall hearing that story.
It was phenomenal, and they had like a special bond and everything, but it was a child that he didn't know that he had. You know, he had a girlfriend, and then he ended up going off to college, and then they just never really got back together. And so she was pregnant, and then they kind of had similar paths. I'll have to look it up and just see where. But yeah, it was like one of those stories during I think it was 2017 or 18, and everybody was talking about it. It was just this amazingly cool story of how it worked out. But yeah, Sherman Smith was a big part of what they did early on, and I kind of feel bad for some of the guys that started all of this, like Rabes and that were here in the very beginning. They didn't get quite as much as recognition as some of the newer guys.
Meanwhile, taking a look at the Mariners, there's the Wyman scale of panic being applied to these different categories. Are you familiar with this?
Why are we calling it the Wyman?
I wanted to try something. I don't know. What do you think? How do you feel about those scales of panic there?
The low level of panic is the equivalent of the downstairs market is out of Lunchables. The high level of panic is the equivalent of a dog pooping in your lawn.
Yeah,
on your lawn.
I'll tell you what. I wouldn't say panic, but
that would be more anger.
That would be anger. I want to punch you in the face. Yeah. Okay. Those are the two. No, there's no Lunchables downstairs, which contain aluminum. Is that right?
Lead.
Yeah.
Lead, I believe, according to that.
Now, let me ask you:
back.
Is that good for you?
I don't believe it is.
I think you should have some lead in your diet.
You think you should?
Okay, and then the dog poop thing. It's like the audacity of why would you just let your dog crap on my lawn and think it's okay?
What if the dog did it, but the owner picked it up in a bag and walked off?
I'd still be like,
because sometimes the dogs make the choice. You can't really pick them up and move them to another spot.
Yeah, I mean, if they're like, hey, I'm really sorry about this, whatever. But if they think they can just pick it up, first of all, I don't know how. Let's not get into poop talk. Never mind.
Wow, that's a first. Dave Wyman saying, let's not talk about poop.
Well, I was just going to say, I take a shovel when I walk Hoover. I have like a little half shovel because I'm not, and I have a bag. I'm not touching his poop. I don't care if there's a plastic bag between me and the poop.
That's not enough of a
I'm just
barrier.
not doing it. Who was the comedian that said, if an alien from, outer space came and saw people following dogs around and picking up their crap, they would say the dogs are in charge. Yeah.
But where is Hoover going is he going in people's lawns and you're shoveling it up?
No, it's in a common area where everybody walks their dog.
I got you. Because like I said, sometimes the dog will make the choice.
Yeah.
You're walking up the street and they'll beeline to a spot. You're like, well,
and if that happens, that's fine. But especially
as long as they pick it up.
Yeah, especially the people that just think it's okay to just, let the dog crap and then just walk out. Okay, let's get back to
All
it.
right,
we got Lunchables, we got poop on the lawn.
So Lunchables is low level. Downstairs market out of Lunchables is low level of concern. Yeah. High level of concern, dog pooping in your lawn. So we'll apply that grading system to each of these categories when it comes to a level of panic about the Mariners. The bullpen.
Bullpen definitely is Lunchables. For me, I mean, I think you always worry about it because things can change so rapidly. What if Andres Munoz all of a sudden goes in a slump? And this is an indication. And Trent Thornton, he is coming out. Didn't he have appendectomy?
Yeah.
But he was good last year, and this year it's been
a little uneven.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like they do such a good job, and I'm not saying the players themselves don't matter. It's just that they have such a good formula that I feel like that they're able to identify talent. So no, I'm not too. If there's no Lunchables, that's not a big problem.
Yeah, I think in general I'd be with you on that on the bullpen. I mean, it got dicey because you had multiple extra inning games, so you really had to tax your bullpen. In this homestand so far. So then you start going, all right, well, who do we have left? And you had guys who took turns having bad nights out there, whether it was Colin Snyder, and a couple of guys making horrible throws, whether it was Snyder or Vargas.
Vargy,
terrible throws to first. Where you're like, oh my, you're killing yourself here. If your starter can get into the sixth inning, I feel good about the bullpen. It's when you start asking them to cover a ton, which they've been asked to do. So I'm with you. Low level at this point of concern. How about the bottom of the lineup?
Yeah, so we're talking about Ben Williamson, Tavares.
Yeah. I guess at this point, Cole Young
at this point. Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, I think Ben Williamson's hitting for a little bit over 350. I don't know. It seems to work out. Yeah, 250.
350. No concern.
Would be fantastic. So, I mean, I that's a low level of concern for me. But I mean, obviously, it means a lot if Crawford, Polanco, Rodriguez, Raleigh, or Rosarina, if those guys, and mainly those three, Cal, Julio, and Randy, those three are, if they're going good. And you throw Polanco in there every once in a while if you can get back anywhere near what he was hitting in that first month. It makes the bottom of the lineup not so treacherous.
Yeah, and the bottom of the lineup carried this team through a few games there where they were coming up with big moments. Whether it was a home run by Leody Taveras or whether it was a clutch hit from Williamson or we've seen Dylan Moore down there when he's been in the game and coming up with some big hits. So we've had moments throughout the season where the bottom of the lineup was making up. I know we've done that because we talked about, well, the top 4 or 5 went, one for whatever, and the bottom carried all the weight in this game. And so they've won a few games for you, is my point. So I'm not ultimately concerned. Look, is this when we start looking down the road, you got to find a way to get production out of first and third. Mm-hmm. You got to get more than what you're getting. But as we sit this year, the way the team's constructed, not a huge concern. I would throw one in that's not in here, and we brought up his name, Polanco. He would be dog poop in your lawn for me.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not poop. I'm saying that level of concern would be. I don't. His April and May are so dramatically different. Couldn't be more different. I mean, he's hitting in the 130s for the month of May and hit 376 or 9 for the month of April. Couldn't be stopped. You knew he wasn't going to be that. I didn't think he would drop to the depths that he's dropped to for the month of May.
Yeah, and he wasn't striking out either. It was markedly different. I don't know. I mean, I think there's going to be some repair there. And so, like the other day, I guess it was last week, Thursday or Friday, I had him as a stock that I would buy right now, just because you can't get much lower. So, but yeah, George Kirby on the list here. I'm kind of a little bit more on the dog poops in your lawn there. I mean, I until I see it.
Yeah,
because
I'm very anxious for his start tomorrow.
Yeah,
yeah.
And our buddy Ryan Rowland-Smith says, hey, he's going to be just fine. So that was encouraging to me. But I feel like I gotta see it.
I'm with you on that one. And we kind of cover this first and third base. Look, Rowdy Tellez has had some big hits, big moments, especially through that Toronto series. But you look at him overall in totality, you're not getting a ton out of first base. Solano's giving you basically zero.
Yeah. Donnie Barrels.
Yeah, Donnie Barrels has driven in 2 runs this year.
I bought his stock too, Bob.
Yeah, right now that's not paying off for you. So that is a problem. It is a problem moving. Your 2 spots, third and first, you're just not getting the production. You're getting in the spots, as we said, but overall you don't have your answers there. Specifically at first, you don't have your answers there. You've got placeholders right now. Third base, I love Williamson's glove. I love his defense. He's coming up with hits. He's not the producer yet. Maybe he can develop into that, so I'm not quite as concerned there as I am first. You just got guys there.
I'll tell you what, Donnie Barrels is going to explode in September, and I'm going to brag about it, okay?
The stock finally paid off.
After 3 months.
I almost sold the stock. Glad I held on to it. All right, coming up, sometimes the word shocking is thrown around too much in the sports world, but this would not be one of those times. You're going to hear about that when we sweep the dial. Coming up with Wyman and Bob, this is Seattle Sports on 710.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10.
We got John Smoltz with us. If you had to describe this Mariner team in one sentence, what do you think they are so far?
If the Seattle Mariners find a way to score runs, they're going to be in the playoffs, and they're going to be a dangerous team. When they get the confidence that they don't have to win 2-1, 1-0, that is a big-time difference when you're looking at a team that everybody knows just needs to score runs to win.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
After years of football and the injuries that go with it, my first thought was always go get surgery. Hey, it's Dave Wyman, but after a consultation with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine, my eyes were open to an alternative to surgery, and I'm talking about stem cell therapy with Dr. Wagner. It helps with severe osteoarthritis, including bone-on-bone, loss of cartilage, rotator cuff, labrum, and meniscus tears, and really it's about getting people back to doing all the activities they love without pain and without surgery. Dr. Wagner's 60-minute outpatient procedure uses your own stem cells, which can regenerate your own cartilage in your own joints. Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, is a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience. And get this, he's performed over 20,000 stem cell procedures. And he's one of the few doing it the right way. So whether it's a shoulder, hip, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Get the facts, then get back in the game at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software, upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
And 6/22/25. New customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3. That is strikeout number 7 for Brian Wu.
Home. Home is where you get to cook things up just the way you like.
Swing and a miss.
Where you're never afraid to get in the kitchen.
Hey, got him. A huge strikeout from Logan Gilbert. It's 7th tonight.
Where you serve, carve, Put some extra mustard on it.
There's the fist pump by Luis Castillo, strikeout number 10 on the night.
And get a little spicy.
Set a heater at 100. Back-to-back strikeouts for Andres Munoz.
Now you're cooking with gas. Mariners baseball at T-Mobile Park. Welcome home.
The Mariners homestand continues this week with 3 straight value games against the Orioles. Score seats for as little as $11 to all 3 games. Tomorrow and Wednesday night at 6:40 and Thursday afternoon at 12:40. Go to mariners.com/value games to grab your tickets and check out the complete schedule.
Do you know a woman who gives her all to the sports community, encourages diversity, and empowers those around her? Stacey Rost here. Seattle Sports is partnering with the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events. We want to recognize a woman in our community, and we need your help finding her. Nominations for the 4th annual Women of Inspiration Award are open until July 11th. The winner will receive a donation to the cause of their choice. Nominate an inspiring woman today at woiseattle.org. That's woiseattle.org.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. Last aid year, University of Maryland Global Campus awarded over $21 million in scholarships to qualified students, including community college students, service members, veterans, and working adults. Now is the time to move your career forward with an online and accredited skills-based education. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
LeeJohnson.com is a dynamic research tool.
We want to give the customer enough information to where they don't have to go anywhere else to research any of the questions they have. And if they want more information, we'd love to be there to help. We don't want them to feel like they're dependent on emailing us or texting us or calling us just to get the information they need. So we put it all out there. We call them digital retailing tools, big fancy calculators where you can get in there and change the terms and change the payments and change the cash down. And it'll give you a disclosure of, hey, when you do this, this means here. And a consumer can get on there and do a lot of this themselves. And then if they choose to get us involved, we can actually get involved on the backside of it and help them along the way. We want to give the consumer the same tools that we have and let them understand what we understand.
Yup, that's pretty much what you'd expect. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Scanning the airwaves for the most interesting and entertaining stories of the day. Sweeping the dial. Every afternoon at 4:45 with Wyman and Bob.
Presented by Silver Reef Casino Resort.
There were a lot of cool moments around the Cole Young call-up. If you guys haven't seen this one, my favorite, I think, was the one the Mariners put out from the dugout in Tacoma, where they had a camera on him, and they followed him around. When the manager told him he was leaving for Seattle, all of his teammates went to hug him. He went to the clubhouse and found out. It was quite a whirlwind. And then Cole Young, after the game on Saturday, after his debut, recaps how he found out he was headed to the majors.
Last night was so unexpected, especially like mid-game. Because our manager came up to me, I think after the 3rd inning, and he was like, "You're going to Seattle tomorrow," and I had him repeat it. I'm like, "What?" Because I couldn't believe it, and then he told me, and so last night I didn't sleep at all. I was just thinking about, what would happen today, and yeah, that was a crazy game. I still haven't wrapped my head around the game, but it's been unreal 24 hours.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool video that they put out there on social media where he's in the dugout out there in Tacoma, and his manager comes up to him and talks about, "Hey man, I'm proud of the way you've played and the way you've carried yourself," and different things like that. And you're going to be going to Seattle, and he's like, "Where am I going?" He goes, "Seattle." "I am. When?" "Tomorrow." It was like, you're done. You're done playing today.
Right.
Go get your stuff. Yeah, and he just, as Lefko was saying, he walks through the dugout. Everybody's giving him hugs and congrats, you deserve it, man. And watching him walk into the clubhouse and getting his stuff, and pretty cool.
Remember when Kevin Costner was on the bus in Bull Durham, and he's describing the big leagues?
Oh, yeah.
All the young guys and everything. Yeah. And they're all
what? You were in the show?
Yeah, they're all they have white balls for batting practice.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's such a cool event, and I just can't imagine what that would be like. And then the difference of going from, and those are some cool places, some of the stadiums they play in, like you were talking about the Aqua Sox, but it's nothing like a big league ballpark, man.
Yeah, well, even I didn't see the clubhouse or anything at where the Aqua Sox play at Funko Field, but I've been in the clubhouse at Cheney Stadium. Yeah, it does. It's not
the same.
It's not the same hemisphere as what the Mariners have. It's and that's AAA, and I mean it's not like they're rolling around in mud or anything, but it's night and day. It's not close.
How cool was that for the manager to be able to be the guy to deliver the information?
Yeah. Well, the funniest thing is he as he's walking, he puts his hand out to shake his hand, and Cole's kind of in a daze, starts walking down the dugout and hugging everybody else, and the manager's like, "Hey." Puts his hand out like he didn't even notice he had his hand out to shake his hand. It's pretty cool.
Sweeping the dial.
Mariners had a number of cool moments over the weekend, including yesterday, the walk-off game winner from Randy Arozarena. And with Manny Acta serving as his interpreter after the game, Randy explained why he wasn't nervous during that game-winning at-bat in the ninth.
En ese turno me sentí tranquilo. Julio hizo un buen trabajo de poder envasarse. Él estaba abriendo inning.
He said that he was very quiet in that at-bat. Probably he's quietest at-bat of the day, where he didn't feel any pressure or anything. He said that all the credit goes to Julio, that he was able to get on base leading off the inning and getting in scoring position. But that was probably the at-bat where he was most under control.
If Manny weren't there, would you have been able to interpret that day?
No, I don't think so. He's a little fast for me.
We know how I would do with that.
Yeah.
Not well.
I love Randy. I like his story. I think it sucked for him in the beginning, but it was kind of cool to find out that he was really that attached to the people in Tampa Bay. But I feel like he's getting that same sort of attachment here in Seattle. And I know he talked about it at one point. We had him down at the stadium.
Yeah. After he had a big walk-off moment there.
Yeah. Was that a walk-off walk? Or?
He's had a couple of walk-off moments this year. I mean, this wasn't one, but this was one. But he's had the walk-off walk. He had another one. So he's another guy. We were talking about like Tellez, and not saying they're on the same level, but where Tellez, you look at the numbers and go, yeah. It's not been a great year, but his moments when they've come have come at crucial times. Same with Randy. You look at his batting average and everything, you're going, he's not tearing it up by any stretch, but he's had some very key moments where he did produce. So I'd like to see that even out just a little bit.
Sweeping the dial.
So ESPN investigative reporter Howard Bryant was doing an interview with Bob Costas. They had a kind of long-form sit-down. And he revealed the staggering amount of money that Cooper Flagg made in his 1 year at Duke.
How much money did Cooper Flagg make this year for 1 year at Duke?
I don't know, but it was a lot.
I know.
You know. What is it, in the millions?
$28 million.
$28 million?
He had a $13 million deal with New Balance and then $15 million with Fanatics.
Oh, my God. I was like, you mentioned the guy, the Duke quarterback.
Yeah.
What was that, 5 million or 8
No,
million?
I think it was 8 or 12.
So
but that was over the term of his. Is he
Yeah.
talking like the New Balance deal? That had to be a multi-year deal. That couldn't have been a 1 year.
Yeah. But I mean, he's
Right.
a freshman, right? So that's 1 year.
Million.
I don't know if that's what he made this year or if that's what maybe the contract is, you think?
Yeah, I would have to believe that. I don't know. Do you have any clarity on that, Lefko?
I think it is an agreement that goes into the NBA, but a good chunk of that got paid out in college. So the fact that they did lock him down for that, there was no set term revealed. But the fact that he's throwing that number out there, like, hey, 1 year at Duke, now he's making $28 million. It's a pretty stunning number.
Yeah, this was. I just looked at it because I had the picture on my phone of the Duke quarterback. It was, $8 million.
Who was that again?
Darian Mensah.
Oh, yeah. Old Darian.
Mency, yeah.
Yeah.
NIL deal worth $8 million, but I think that's over the span. Still a lot of freaking money for football at Duke.
Well, and again, he's going to take a pay cut. Somebody was giving us a hard time on the text toy about, do your research. That's not true, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, John Schneider told us himself that there are going to be players. So if that guy gets, $2 million a year for 4 years, if that's what the deal is, I mean, he's going to be making less than $2 million. I mean, look, if he could be a first-round draft choice, maybe he does, but it's doubtful.
$28 million.
28. I would have never, I thought maybe 12 to 15 on the high side. That's
Well, and as Lefko said, the Chew deal follows him into the NFL, so he's under contract as a member of the Duke team, and whichever team he gets drafted by, he'll still carry that deal. But my goodness. All right, coming up, he's one of the best in the business and one of Dave's all-time favorite people to listen to him talk about baseball.
Yeah.
Catch up with MLB Network's Mark DeRosa coming your way next. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
It's the next phase of the Seahawks offseason. OTAs.
Jansen, he's going 40.
And Seattle sports is all over it.
The Seahawks, they're into it now.
The one thing about Mike McDonald is he knows exactly what he wants to do.
Wyman and Bob are live from the VMAC all afternoon. Complete insider coverage at seattlesports.com, the Seattle Sports YouTube channel, and the Seattle Sports app. We are the home of the Seahawks. Seattle Sports.
Does your yard need shade, privacy, or a little brightening up? Look no further than Big Trees. I'm Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. At our 30-acre location, there are thousands of trees to choose from and knowledgeable staff, including a board-certified master arborist, to help you find exactly what you're looking for. Visit the nursery and learn more about Big Trees at bigtreesupply.com.
The team at Mazda of Everett is always working hard to make your experience with their team exceptional. Mazda of Everett has over 700 new Mazdas in stock, tariff-free. It's the perfect time to buy a new Mazda. Visit our friends at Mazda of Everett on Highway 99 in Everett or shop online at mazdaofeverett.com. Click the Mazda of Everett price where pre-tariff pricing still applies. Shop their tariff-free selection at Mazda of Everett.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies the same item, current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Guys, want long-term health you can count on? It starts with knowing your numbers.
This June, for Men's Health Month, Revive Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value, including testosterone, blood sugar, heart health, and more. Take control of your health today and stay strong for the long haul. Offer ends June 30th. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com today.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. Olympic Series windows are offered exclusively by Harley Exteriors, manufactured right here in Washington, specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. This is the window you want. It looks absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window, and these windows last up to 60 years. They're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort. They come with a double lifetime, fully transferable warranty, meaning not only are you covered for glass breaking or damaged seals, it's going to help your resale and home value. Very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And this June, buy 3 windows and get 1 free, plus an additional $200 off your entire project. Think Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in the Puget Sound. Call 8-333-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Well, we had the story a couple of weeks ago about Lance McCullers Jr. and his family receiving death threats after a poor outing. This was a couple of weeks ago. Well, apparently an intoxicated bettor located overseas was behind the social media threats. That, according to the Houston Police Department, a spokesperson for the department declined to identify the suspect or his location, but they said that the man admitted that he had been gambling on an Astros game, lost money, and was frustrated and inebriated. When he sent the threats to McCullers, the man apologized and asked that his apology be relayed to McCullers and his family, according to reports. Meanwhile, Mariners have the day off today. They'll get back to business starting tomorrow when they welcome the Baltimore Orioles to town. Meanwhile, games going on right now. Rockies looking for their 10th win of the season, and they are up 5-4 on the Marlins in the top of the 5th in Miami. Right now, Angels shutting out the Red Sox 6-0 in the bottom of the 3rd. Brewers and Reds tied at 2 apiece in Cincinnati. That game in the top of the 3rd, bottom of the 1st in Chicago. And the Tigers jump out to a 3-0 lead over the White Sox. Still to come, Padres and Giants in San Francisco. A's host the Twins, and the Dodgers welcome the Mets to town.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Mike Lefko here on Wyman and Bob. Pleased to be joined by this guy who you watch every morning on MLB Network. He is one of the co-hosts of MLB Central. Mark DeRosa joins us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Mark, how's it going today?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Oh, we're doing great, and especially after a guy that you guys just talked about this morning continues to hit home runs, Cal Raleigh. We watched your breakdown of what he has done well this season. I don't even know. We were talking about this. There are really not enough superlatives to talk about Cal Raleigh and what he's done so far, but how do you assess what he has done to this point?
I mean, he's arguably putting together the greatest season that a catcher's ever put together, according to the numbers. So, yeah, I'm always amazed when, my best friend in the world is Brian McCann, a guy who took a lot of pride defensively. I played with Buster Posey, took a lot of pride defensively. And the fact that those guys are asked to, carry an offense as well, it always blew me away. And to sit there and to see what Cal has done from an offensive standpoint, the adjustments he's made, and just the absolute ridiculous power numbers. It's funny, in last night, and my college roommate's from Mercer Island, Washington.
Okay.
And he's a huge Mariners fan, Nick Morris. And he sent me a text. He said, if I don't get a Cal Raleigh skybox tomorrow, you're not doing your job. So I texted him back. I said, it's funny you say that because it's happening. Yeah, he's been – I mean, it's him and Judge, right, in the American League right now for MVP.
Mark, what will he have to do to stay in this race, legitimately in this race, for the next 4 months of the season?
I mean, obviously, you can't expect him to continue at this pace and hit 60. I mean, what's he on pace for? Like 65 homers? Yeah. I mean, that'd be absolutely ridiculous. But, you know, for me, win the division, carry the Mariners to the playoffs, break Salvador Perez's record for catchers home runs in a season, and then I would say it's kind of 50-50 if he can get it. I mean, what we're seeing Judge do is, you know, the stuff of legend. It's stuff only like Babe Ruth has ever done. So he's got his work cut out for him. But that being said, the respect factor of what he does on a nightly basis does not go unnoticed. Every player who's ever played in the big leagues knows how hard the catching position is and how much is asked from them from a defensive standpoint. So to turn around from both sides of the plate and give this team middle-of-the-order bat with the production he's doing, I mean, is just absolutely incredible.
Well, Mark, it's interesting because he hits better when he catches. But then, you know, you don't want to wear him down and have him catch every day. But is he too valuable to really take out of the lineup, even for one day? He's never sat out a game this season.
Yeah, I'm willing to take the chance if you want to throw him a DH bone just to get him off his feet. I mean, Dan Wilson, I mean, the manager knows. If anybody knows how to handle it, it would certainly be him playing the position as long as he had. So, yeah, I don't – it's few and far between. That bat's not coming out of the lineup. And just the adjustments he's made from the right side we were showing some boards today. The numbers. I mean, he's always handled himself from the left side, but the adjustments he's made, where he's standing in the box, getting all over it, just getting pull power, not hitting anything on the ground, just getting out and around everything. It's just been really impressive from both sides.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that the thing that's impressed you the most? Because he did come into the league, and I know you guys did a thorough breakdown of this morning, and he was such a good left-handed hitter. And now to see him being as valuable right-handed, how much more dangerous does that make him when you can't just turn him around and have a weaker side?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, every opposing manager is searching for a lane, right? Try and bring in a reliever to take the power out of the best bats of the opposition. And you're not able to do that against him anymore. I think the thing that blows me away, though, like I keep going back to it, is the fact that he's a catcher first. Mm-hmm. They have such a powerful staff, and for him to have to, like, that's his first job. When he shows up to the yard, he's game planning how he's going to attack from the defensive side, what the pitcher's going to do that day. And then once that time and effort's put in, that's when he goes into the cage probably and gets his work in. So to think the rest of us show up and we walk right into the offensive side of it. We're going to get our ground balls and fly balls in batting practice and kind of, just get loose and get a nice little lather and then go into the game. But our focus from the time we get there is from an offensive standpoint. So to think he has to put in double the amount of work and double being a switch hitter and doing it at the level he's doing it really is ridiculous.
Mark DeRosa with us here on Wyman and Bob. Mark, I want to get past all the good with Cal Raleigh because outside of that right now with the Mariners offense, it's been a little shaky. What's your impression of this team offensively when you get past Cal?
Yeah, I mean, JP's starting to swing the bat a little bit, hit a nice bomb there and got a nice bat flip. Julio's been an enigma. He's got the 10 home runs, but he's gotten on fire here recently. He's got to be the guy, right? He's got to be their superstar player to go with Cal Raleigh. And sometimes I see the ability to elevate a heater on him. He seems to hit spin very well in the middle of the zone. But some fastballs rushed up in the zone. He has a tendency to, dip his barrel. A lot of guys do that as far as like pointing his barrel, Julio Franco style at the pitcher. So he gets a little late on some elevated stuff. Listen, we've been saying for years they're always a bat away, right? I I'm sure Jerry realizes they got a chance to win this division. It's wide open. Texas, although they got the pitching, they've gone through a lull offensively. They can't seem to get the bats going. Houston's not going anywhere. They find a way to win. But outside of that, it seems to be those three. Yeah, I think for me, it's a middle of the order bat at the deadline. If that's able to come in, I don't know who that is right now, or it's a matter of Julio stepping up and being like garnering his set of MVP votes. That's the expectations.
Mark, do you think that Julio can reach that? Because we've always seen the potential, and we keep wondering, is this going to be the year? Is this going to be the time? Is there something you've seen maybe this year that gives you an indication that he could, or that you're still waiting to see if he can put it all together for a full season?
I mean, the power numbers are there. He's got double-digit homers. Like I said, I do see, like, there's moments where I do see he has a tendency to get off his backside and his barrel's pointing to the pitcher a little bit longer than it needs to be. I feel like there's ways to pitch him if he's not locked in. I'd like him to make a few adjustments at the dish. But, I mean, God, I got to believe Edgar Martinez. Who am I to question what he does from an offensive standpoint when he's got one of the best hitters I ever played against, working with him in the cage? So you got to think it's coming at some point. I mean, he's too athletic and too dangerous for it not to come.
Hey, Mark, what do you see from this Mariners pitching staff? They are getting some arms back. You know, they got George Kirby back. He hasn't been the George Kirby of the past. Bryce Miller made his first start back after a couple of weeks. What do you want to see out of this Mariners pitching staff now over these next few weeks and months?
I want to see one of my favorite pitchers in the game, Bryce Miller, kind of step up. I know he was, had a couple starts since coming off an arm injury to kind of set him back a little bit. I've always enjoyed watching him attack with the heater, and hopefully he gets back to that point. Castillo's giving you everything you need. He's got just a little bit north of a 3 ERA. Brian Wu has been awesome. You've gotten production from some guys like Logan Evans and Hancock. So ultimately, you need the big boy back, right? Logan Gilbert needs to get back at some point. I don't know what the timetable is for him, but hopefully he's able to get back. But yeah, I love the rotation. And you knew Andres Munoz was going to eventually give up a run. Like, he wasn't going to go the whole season. So he had a hiccup against Minnesota, gives up a 3 spot, gives up another run, I believe, yesterday. And he's one of the nastiest closers in the game. So, I mean, the pieces are there. I mean, you sit atop the division right now in a division that seems to be a 3-horse race. So just like to see the offense click a little bit.
Yeah, it has been inconsistent at times. But getting back to what you said about Munoz, do you categorize that as just a hiccup? Because we've watched his workload, and it has really increased this season. Times he came into the game, he pitched 3 times in 4 outings during this series. Is usage a concern for you, or do you think it is just a hiccup, what he went through over the weekend?
Well, I think you gotta win the games you're supposed to win, right? Like, ultimately, I do think Dan Wilson has to monitor the long game with him because he's so nasty, and you want to go to him at all times. Yes, it's a hiccup. The game's too hard. You're not going to be perfect. There's one Mariano Rivera. We watched Clase go through this in the postseason last year, and then it bled into the season this year. As nasty as you are, you're playing against the best players in the world, and eventually you will regress to the mean. I was saying that today on the show. You look around, the guys that are struggling offensively that have the track record will eventually get going at some point, and the guys that got off to amazing starts will eventually get cold. It's just the ebb and flow of the season. We watched it with Luzardo in Philly. He got off to such a nasty start. He was unhittable, and all of a sudden he gives up an 11-12 spot to the Brewers. So you kind of are who you are at the end of the day in this game once you're in your cleats, and I just feel like Munoz is one of those guys. He's nasty. He's going to be an effective closer for you guys the entire length of the season, but to expect him to be perfect is unfair.
Mark, I don't know how much you've gotten to see Matt Brash since he's come back, but to be out for that long, obviously he was so filthy before he got injured. Is that normal for a guy to bounce back this well when you're suffering such a prolonged arm injury, or what have you seen out of Brash that has impressed you since his return?
You know what's funny? He's always had some of the nastiest stuff, right? The sweeper and the ability to spin it and blow heaters by guys. It's funny. I was driving to the airport the other day, and just to listen, I was listening to the game on the radio, and to listen to the play-by-play and color guy just rave about his stuff being back so quick. They seem to be super shocked by it. I haven't put enough eyeballs on it yet to make a decision on that. But yeah, I mean, the numbers don't lie. If he's right and his arm's feeling good, he's going to get outs.
Mark, when we look around baseball, and we've seen these quick promotions, specifically with the Mariners, the past couple of months when they brought up Ben Williamson after just a handful of minor league appearances, Cole Young they just called up over the weekend, and then today the Royals with Jack Caglione. Do you like this kind of new normal of guys not getting rushed up, but coming up quicker than they would have in the past?
I think if you have a chance to win and you feel like they're ready to help the big league club, I think at the end of the day, that's what it's about. I mean, I look at the Royals, right? They're starving for offense in the outfield, starving for it, and they have an absolute mutant hitting bombs in AAA. He's obviously proven that. I know it's a small sample size, but I think the measure of the man, right, mentally, you can't expect him to come in and carry your offense. There's going to be hiccups along the way. But if mentally he can handle it, from an offensive standpoint, this team needs it. And yeah, I saw Cole Young come up the other day and hit the walk-off number to first base, and everybody, going crazy. But they just rave about the makeup. If the makeup's there with the Williamson kid, if you're able to handle some struggles and give good at-bats and play solid D and add value to the team, I think in today's game that's what it's about. A little bit different back in our time. I walked into a clubhouse full of nothing but, 32-year-old veterans. That is not the case today. It used to be 22 veterans and 3 young guys, and now it's the complete opposite of that.
Hey, Mark, before we let you go, and I really appreciate the time today, the Orioles are coming into town tomorrow to face the Mariners, and we kind of look at this team as, wow, they have just kind of fallen off, and with the Mariners going through this window of contention, and we know how fickle those can be, what lesson should the Mariners or any other team take from what the Orioles are experiencing right now?
Yeah, I don't think you try and thread the needle when you got a chance to win. I think that's what they tried to do at the deadline last year. Like, listen, the Zach Eflin, getting him, yeah, he's going to start a postseason game for you on most teams, maybe not the Mariners, but on the Orioles he certainly would. But then they were trying to, they knew they were going to lose Burns, so they were trying to not only address their 24 concerns, but they were trying to address their rotation moving forward in 25. And I just think you kind of sent a message into the clubhouse that it wasn't all systems go. I'm not saying you be foolish, but at the same time, when a team's ready to win, when you're watching guys walk in that probably aren't going to help you until the following year, you kind of wondering what's going on when you're seeing other teams in your league going after it. So I understood what they were doing. At the same time, they kind of tried to thread the needle, and then there was free agent starters out there that they could have went out and signed when Burns walked out the door, the likes of an Evaldi or Severino or whoever the case may be. I'm drawing a blank on any other starting rotation guys, but they didn't do it. So you go into camp going, you can't lie to the players. When you're short, if you got a chance to win it or not. And I just think they rolled into camp knowing from a starting pitching rotation, everything would have had to fall perfect, and it hasn't.
Mark DeRosa, co-host of MLB Central on MLB Network every morning, has been our guest here on Wyman and Bob. Mark, thank you so much for the time. We really appreciate it.
You got it, man.
There you go, Mark DeRosa. If you guys missed any part of that conversation, you'll be able to find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Meanwhile, conversation when you're talking to anybody in the world of baseball these days when it comes to the Mariners, Cal Raleigh is going to be a major topic because of the terror he is on. And in case you guys missed it, he's the co-AL Player of the Week, which sounds weird when you look at what he did in the week. He hit .348, scored 6 runs, hit 6 home runs. He had 10 runs driven in, a stolen base, just for a little icing on the cake. .444 on base, 1136 slug with a 1575 OPS.
That's amazing. Amazing numbers. You can't ask for anything more. How about
much like Polanco's April numbers? We can't hold him to these numbers, Dave. I know you want to. You can't hold him to this standard. It's not right.
Yeah, he's going to cool down probably, but I thought what was interesting. By the way, DeRosa, I couldn't get on for whatever reason, but I was pissed because I love watching that show in the morning. And whenever you make MLB Central, you you did something big happened. And
what time is that show on?
It's too early for you, Bob. That's all you.
That's what I assume.
Well, I got to say, I tape it too. I
do?
think it's at like 6 or 7 in the morning.
Jeez. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, when those guys talk about the team, that's when I get fired up. By the way, DeRosa was a quarterback at Penn, the Penn Quakers in the Ivy League, and he threw for like 4,000 yards and 25 touchdowns in his career. I had no idea he was that good of a football player.
Prolific.
Yeah, and I looked at, there was a game from 1994 somebody put online, and he's out there just dropping dimes. It was unbelievable.
He's not very tall, though, is he?
Yeah, he's like 6 feet tall. So, but yeah, and he played obviously in the league for 16 years, I think it was. So, yeah, he does a great job. But yeah, I mean, whenever they're talking about you, it's a good thing, and they have done a number of features on the Mariners this year. I like what he said in the interview. There was, when Cal comes in to work, I mean, he's a catcher. He's looking at game plans and how to get guys and how to, talk to his pitchers and things like that. So I know there's been a lot of talk about the heavy workload that Cal has, but it's kind of like what I was saying about Andres Munoz. I'm not trying to turn it into football or anything, but I mean, he's built for that. Some guys are just built to last. And, you see Cal gets a lot of those really annoying, little bruises and things like that just gets him beat up, and it's not good for his knees what he's doing,
right?
But he handles it really well. So I mean, as far as like backing him off and watching his workload and everything, I think he can handle it. But he's just so valuable if you don't have him in the lineup. And I'm all for having him DH every once in a while just to give him a little bit of a rest.
Oh, you have to.
Yeah.
He's not catching every night.
No,
he can't
no way.
do it,
I mean,
so.
even though he probably would.
I'm sure if it were up to him, he probably would. And Dan, as DeRosa said, he knows what it takes to be a catcher. He knows that life. He knows the grind and the pain in the knees and the lower back and the dings. And every catcher's getting hit. They're getting hit, foul ball off the knee, foul ball off the end of the thigh, foul ball off the hand. You see it any game you watch, you're going to see the catcher just bend over like, oh, that one hurt.
Well, and that's what you see. The catchers are always so careful with the umpires. Like if a guy gets hit, they're like, oh, are you okay? Checking on, because they know what that's about, man. It's just, it's brutal. You never know when it's gonna happen. But he's just a tough dude, and he's also very Gumby like for a big guy. I mean, he crouched down. I mean, he just looks like he's in really good shape as far as like. I think he takes Pilates and things like that. You would have to, right?
Yeah, you got to work on your flexibility. You got to
be made of rubber.
Yeah, and in Cal, you're seeing a superstar start to develop. He's starting to get that national recognition. He's on those shows. It's always been when you talk about the Mariners, you'd sort of talk about the rotation as a whole.
Sure.
Yeah, you'd get granular, and they would talk about Bryce Miller, and they'd focus on him, or they'd focus on Luis Castillo or Logan Gill, whatever. But often it's about the rotation as a whole. And if you're talking about an individual, typically it's been Julio. He would be the focus. Even if you see the advertisements like on ESPN, it would be like Julio Rodriguez and the Mariners facing off against the Jose Altuve and the Houston Astros. You know what I mean? He would be the featured player, so to speak. And it feels like Cal is starting to move into that spot. And Julio still needs to earn that superstar status. And now here's the thing. Neither, by baseball standards, are being paid as a superstar. They're both making $17+ million per season, which is a lot of money. But when you compare it to the contracts of Ohtani and Soto and the superstar Judge, they're not there. They're not close. So it's kind of a good deal for the Mariners. I mean, it's a great deal for them. The players are getting every penny of that, whether he hits $348 for the month or $48 for the month, so it's all guaranteed. But by baseball superstar contract standards, They're not being. I know there's a group of people that get bunched up. Stop calling Julio a superstar.
Yeah.
Well, he's not being paid as one.
Well, and you know what? I think how much? Let's say Cal doesn't like Seattle, because when he signed his deal, he was even talking about Brock and Salk. You know, he was like, "You guys, you know, it's you guys." And he meant the media, I think.
Yeah, I don't think he's being specific to them.
Yeah. I had to tee you up for that one, Bob.
Pretty sure he was just in general,
No, but I mean, I think if he doesn't like it here, he could probably make a lot more money somewhere else. I think $17 million, like you said, that's not.
I mean, it's a nice payday, but
yeah.
But
And I wonder if he's like, hey, it's enough for me. You know, I just like it here. So, you know, and I think maybe it's an extra $10 million that he gets going somewhere else, but that's just not who he is. You know, he likes it here. He likes, you know, the setup and everything, you know, the clubhouse, his teammates, you know, and remember, you know, Logan was talking about what a big part of being, you know, a Mariner, it meant to him to have Cal.
Yeah, well, hopefully the ownership will take advantage of that relationship.
Yes,
and
as well.
Lock down a couple more guys, including Logan. All right, coming up, some historic things are happening around baseball, and not really in a good way. We'll tell you what that's about. Coming up next as we continue live from the Virginia Mason Athletic Center, it's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
What a weekend.
Swinging a ground ball up the middle, base hit.
The Mariners' resilient shine.
A walk-off single. Julio scores.
The big dumper unloads.
Cal Raleigh does it again.
Tomorrow night, the homestand continues with a first of 3 against the Orioles at T-Mobile Park. First pitch at 6:40 on the home of the Mariners and the AL West race. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Ladies, and you guys too, have you noticed visible signs of aging, those deep wrinkles, fine lines, and facial creases stealing your youthful glow? Sagging skin, crow's feet, and loss of facial contour are all natural effects of aging, but you no longer have to let them define your appearance. Introducing the New Skin Lift, the groundbreaking facelift led by Dr. Brian Scott. The advanced New Skin Lift addresses key signs of facial aging for women and men, restoring natural youthful contours. Whether it's replenishing volume lost over time or lifting the skin to smooth out those creases, the New Skin Lift can help you look 10 to 20 years younger with both surgical and non-surgical options. It's Hollywood's best kept secret and now available to you. Get a free consultation and save $250 off your New Skin facelift. Schedule at newskinlift.com or 206-222-1225. Look 10 to 20 years younger and restore your youthful appearance with the New Skin facelift. newskinlift.com.
Get 0% financing for 72 months on Cat compact construction equipment at NC Machinery. Built for performance, durability, and comfort. Buy now and take advantage of 0% financing for 72 months at NC Machinery.
Riverside Roofing is offering $1,000 off a new roof replacement. Book a free estimate online, and when you meet with Brandon, that's Don's son, tell him you heard the message on the radio station. Go to riversideroofingllc.com. It's Riverside Roofing, the roofing company you can trust.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. Olympic Series windows are offered exclusively by Harley Exteriors, manufactured right here in Washington, specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. This is the window you want. It looks absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window, and these windows last up to 60 years. They're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort. They come with a double lifetime, fully transferable warranty, meaning not only are you covered for glass breaking or damaged seals, it's going to help your resale and home value. Very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And this June, buy 3 windows and get 1 free, plus an additional $200 off your entire project. Think Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in the Puget Sound. Call 8-333-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Rick Riz here for the Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington's Improve Your Play program. Many of our local youth sports teams need help with field enhancements, training, and equipment. Local Pella owners Keith Dashafy and Luke Wilson are stepping up to donate $5,000 to 2 deserving teams. We need your help finding them. Head to seattlesports.com/play to nominate a deserving team in need. Let's help our local youth improve their play this year with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Contest and rules at seattlesports.com/play.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Big Trees is Washington's premier tree sales and transplant company. With over 30 years of experience, Big Trees provides trees of all sizes for residential and commercial projects. Our 30-acre nursery features thousands of trees and hundreds of varieties that thrive in our Pacific Northwest climate. For hours, directions, and to see our wide selection of trees, visit BigTreeSupply.com.
Beauty, privacy, instantly. Big Trees.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, some other things happening in the world of baseball outside of the Mariners. So we were looking at pictures of Lazaro Montez, who I saw yesterday when I went to the Aqua Sox game with our guy Brent Stecker, and I was telling you how huge he is, just looking at him in the on-deck circle, and then you looked up something that said he was like 6'3", 210 or something like that. I'm like, no. That's way
You
off.
ran into him at spring training, right?
Spring training, like literally ran in. I was coming out of a room looking down, much like the people we see in our newsroom, looking at my phone, and he was coming out of another room, and we banged into each other. Yeah. And I was, oh, sorry, man. And I was looking up at him. I'm 6'3", and I was looking up. So we found another one where he's listed at 6'5". Yeah. He's easily 225. Yeah. I would say minimum. He is a big legs, big power source. He's only 20.
That's crazy.
I don't know what he's going to look like when he's 27. Yeah. When he starts, his body's still growing, man. It's just.
Who's the guy you just showed me that is 27 and he got his first hit? It was
it was a catcher.
2 home runs.
It was Andrew Miller. So I don't know where he came from because he had only had a few at bats with the Aqua Sox, but he's an old man for that league. For Single A, he's 27. He's about to turn 28 in September. But they put up on the big board their picture and their stats, and his batting average was 0. He had no hits, and then he hit 2 home runs yesterday.
2 home runs.
So now he's hitting 200.
Well, just think how the young those 19, 20-year-olds seem to you when you're 27.
Yeah,
grinding it out in
Single A
for forever.
Yeah, that's somebody who just loves ball. But
loves ball.
But bringing up Montez because he's been called Baby Alvarez is what they call him. In talking about Yordan Alvarez, the beast for the Houston Astros, which I don't know, what is he listed? If you
I was
get a
just
chance
going
to
to
look him up. I'm curious what he's listed at.
But you were saying in the update there that he's
He's got he's been out with a hand injury. I don't know, hand or wrist.
6'4", 240.
Yeah. So he's shorter than Laz Montez, and I would say their weight's probably he might be a little heavier, but not that much. But he's
just a beast.
He's been out with a hand injury, and now they're saying it's worse than it originally appeared. He felt some pain in his right hand on Friday while he was hitting, and a small fracture that was previously believed to be a muscle strain was discovered, and they said the fracture is about 60% healed. So bit of a setback, thinking it was just a strained muscle, it's going to be fine, and there's a fracture. So
isn't that what happened to Cal one year?
His was a thumb, I think it was the tendon or ligament or whatever in the thumb, and he kind of just taped it up.
Yeah.
And then got surgery after the season.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what? That must be different because I had the same thing where I could just take my thumb and touch my wrist with it, basically.
That's not right, Dave.
It's not right. It also was like when the doctor did it, I was like, oh, don't do that again, please.
Yeah.
Didn't hurt. It was just weird. But
so they're saying he's been out since May 3rd, Alvarez. And they were hoping he was going to come off the injured list this past weekend. And now their manager, Dana Brown, the GM, Dana Brown, was saying the immediate plan for him right now is just to let it rest, and he'll still continue to do other baseball activity like running. He could probably go in the outfield and catch. He can do everything else except for pick up a bat.
Yeah.
Well, that's his most
kind of his trade,
his biggest attribute. So I don't root for guys to get injured, but hopefully that'll impact their lineup to the point, his absence will start to catch up with them and they'll fade a bit.
Maybe it'll start to heal next October, November.
Yeah.
How about that?
Hopefully he's a slow healer, something like that. So that's, if you're an Astros fan, not good news for you. And then the Rockies, they were swept by the Mets over the weekend. They fall to 9-50. 50. They've lost 50 games already. Third fastest team ever to 50 losses. And they've been swept 10 times in 20 series. They've been swept in half of the series they've played. They've played 20, and in 10 of them they've been swept.
That is just pathetic. And, we're looking at their home and away. I think they've won 5 home games, 5 of the 9. And, I'm just thinking of the fans going, how bad would that suck?
Oh, I mean, if you're a Rockies fan in Colorado, what's your motivation for going? Is it, hey, it's a nice day. I like baseball. Maybe you're a fan of somebody on the opposing team. I want to see, I don't know. I want to see Shohei. I want to see whoever's in town. Maybe your team doesn't even have double-digit wins through. They're playing their 60th game today, and right now they're actually up 5-4 on the Marlins. They might get win number 10 today.
That'll change. Are they home?
No, they're on the road in Miami.
Because they've only won 6 games at home. But they're 3-28 away.
Maybe this is number 4, Dave. I mean, the Marlins are not great, but in comparison, they're world beaters. The Marlins are 23-34, and the Rockies are 9-50.
Yeah,
unbelievable. So we'll see. It's in the bottom of the 7th in Miami. We'll see if they're able to hang on. But
one of the things that was discouraging to me over the weekend was looking at the run differential for the Mariners. Because you look at all the teams that lead their division, like the Yankees, they're plus 98. Detroit Tigers plus 86. The Mets plus 67. 97 for the Cubs. 80 for the Dodgers. Mariners plus 8.
I think we're back to working with the fun differential.
Yeah, let's call it that. It is. It's been fun. It's been exciting.
Well, they've shown they are living proof you can win 90 games, which they did, and they had a minus 52.
Yeah, it's in the 50s.
52, 53, 54, somewhere it was a strong negative number. It was a strong minus. It was minus 50 something.
That was one of the
won 90 games.
That was one of the great things that Service did.
The fun differential.
What about the fun differential? And he thought he was so funny making that. That's like I remember another memory of Service. I was standing in the back because I got late to the big press conference, and I got there late, and he was late, and I had just gotten back from Green Bay where the Packers whooped the Seahawks in the playoffs. And he was looking over at me with this big smile and everything, like, huh? How about my Packers? So I gave him the little
you're number one.
You're number one. He laughed. But it was just kind of a little bit discouraging. I mean, it's just not a great number.
Well, when you get your tail kicked a couple times, giving up 18 runs in 2 games to the Nationals, that's going to skew that differential.
Yeah, and scoring 1.
Yeah, that's not going to help that number. But Lefko asks the question on here about, first of all, how bad of a look is this for Major League Baseball, especially after the White Sox set the record last year? It's a terrible look. But asking, does something have to be done in order to disincentivize tanking? Tanking implies that they're not trying to win, that they're doing things that will lead to losses, thus they're going to get better draft picks, blah, blah, blah. I think they may just be really, really bad. I don't know that they're going out there and not giving their best effort, or that the manager is making moves that might lead to more losses. I don't think they're under any illusion they're in a playoff hunt, but I don't know that they're actively going, well, I could put this guy at this spot and he's going to be better, so let me throw in this other guy who's not as good.
Yeah.
So I don't know that that's, I mean, look, they know, but I think they might just be truly a bad team, much like the White Sox are truly a bad team.
Well, here are their top 5 players. Hunter Goodman, heard of him?
Heard the name, yeah.
He's batting .265. Ryan McMahon.
Does that lead the team?
Yes, that's number 1. Ryan McMahon on base percentage .322. Michael Toglia, and then Brenton Doyle, Jordan Beck. I mean,
I think their home run leader only has single digits, right?
Yeah, let's see here. I was looking at, 7 for Hunter Goodman, and then 6 apiece for McMahon and Toglia.
Jordan Beck is their home run leader.
8. Or I'm sorry, Jordan Beck.
8, way off. 7,
right.
8.
Yeah. So I mean, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Yeah.
I mean, just Mickey Moniak. I recognize that name. Kyle Farmer.
Chris Bryant is hurt again. I think he's undergoing a back procedure. That's the guy they spent a bunch of money on in free agency. So, just, boy, to be a Rockies fan, unbelievable. All right, coming up, we learned that you find Ryan Rowland-Smith in some unexpected and unwelcome places. What we learned coming your way next with Wyman and Bob, live from the Virginia Mason Athletic Center at Seattle Sports on 710.
What a weekend.
Swinging a ground ball up the middle, base hit.
The Mariners' resilient chimes.
A walk-off single. Julio scores.
The big dumper unloads.
Cal Raleigh does it again.
Tomorrow night, the homestand continues with a first of 3 against the Orioles at T-Mobile Park. First pitch at 6:40 on the home of the Mariners and the AL West race. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
If you've been in a wreck or a fender bender,
you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility, not just where your insurance company tells you to go. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. With over 25 years of auto repair work, they'll exceed your expectations.
we meet by accident, fixing every last dent. Accurate Auto Body.
At Accurate Auto Body, all their work is performed by certified technicians, only using OEM parts to guarantee the safety of you and your family. For the best in auto body collision repair and customer service, give them a call at 425-883-2450 or AccurateAutoBodyWA.com. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
we meet by accident, fixing every last dent. Accurate Auto Body.
Need a new roof but not in the budget? A new roof doesn't have to break the bank. Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Right now, State Roofing and Exteriors is offering 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's 2 years with no payments while getting the protection your home deserves. But this offer won't last forever. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to get on our summer schedule now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Summertime is Pacific Power Batteries time. Okay, maybe that's a stretch. But we do sell more batteries in the spring and summer because you folks are all out there doing stuff. Golf carting and boating and buzzing around on stuff that needs batteries. Well, when's a good time? How about tomorrow? We're open 7 days a week to test any battery and let you know the honest answer. Summertime and the cranking is easy. Happy trails from Pacific Power Batteries.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Brandy Cruz. Hey, Brandy, why? Why First Mark Insurance?
Service.
I wondered for a second whether I was getting the VIP treatment. And I kind of asked, hey, is this what you do for everyone? And they're like, of course. The whole First Mark Challenge is meant to be personal, right? So it really is tailored and meant to be a personal experience for every single person. I will say I've just done whatever is the quickest and cheapest type of insurance. And I realized while I was doing it, wow, this is what it feels like to get insurance as a real adult. We had a million questions and they walked us through every step of the process. And then they're working for you. So they're not working for insurance companies, they're working for you. To experience that level of service really shows you what the difference is with First Mark.
Brandy did it. My family did it. You got to do it. It's totally free. Take the First Mark Challenge. See how much money they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be our next First Mark Challenge victory. Go to firstmarkinsurance.com.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
Yeah, I have a ton of really memorable customers. So one of my favorite customers I've ever had, he came in and had a really bad experience with several different dealerships. He just lost his husband. His husband left him with a truck, and he was like, I don't need a truck. Like, this is so impractical for me. And it was a really emotional decision for him because it was one of the last things that he had, obviously husbands. We were like, it's no problem. Like, we're going to help you. And we did the process the same way that we always do the process. And we helped him trade in his truck for a beautiful new Rogue. And that was really cool. And he bought his second car from us. And I'm sure when he needs a third car, he'll come back and buy his third car from Nissan too. Afterwards, to thank us, he sent us this beautiful basket of like candies and fruits and stuff.
Making a great day for the people around you is making a great day for yourself. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
This is a house of learned doctors. What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
What did we learn today?
No one's a bigger idiot than me.
Stupidity is the easiest way out.
Well, we learned Ryan Rowland-Smith can be found in areas that are really not that inviting, I guess. Is that the right word?
It's peculiar and awkward. I remember one time I was at SeaTac, and Rick Riz. I was going to the bathroom.
Oh, you heard the voice.
Heard Rick Riz in there,
airport, yeah.
talking about the airport. I'm like, man, Rick, I text him, I can't get away from you, man.
What did we learn today, Lefko?
Yeah, Bob, you were kind of saying we learned that Ryan, I guess, was making you feel uncomfortable while you were trying to use the bathroom.
Can't even get away from Ryan. I went to an Aqua Sox game yesterday, and I went with our guy Brent Stecker, and I was like, hey, hang on, let me run in the bathroom real quick. And I walk up to a urinal, and I'm staring straight ahead, as one should do. And right in front of me is an advertisement for his baseball camp. Ryan Rowland-Smith, and I took a picture and sent it to him. He didn't respond, but it's okay.
Oh, of course not.
But you're everywhere, man. You're in minor league stadiums, big league stadiums. We can't get away from Ryan Rowland-Smith.
You sent me that photo, and it made me happy. I was stoked. I'm like, oh, they're actually advertising. I said, hey, have you sent this out? No one signed up yet. What's going on?
Yeah, it's right there. They're advertising in the men's bathroom. I can tell you that. I can't speak to what's going on in the women's bathroom. Yeah, there he was. I just happened to, lucky enough to pull into the right stall there, I guess, or the right, whatever you call it, in front of the urinal.
Or were you thinking, man, I just can't get away from this guy?
Well, it was kind of funny because then once I realized what was right in front of me, I looked, because there was nobody in the ones next to me. I looked to the left and the right, and there were different advertisements for other things.
So you kind of subconsciously chose.
It was fate.
Ryan. Yeah.
Fate brought us together in the men's room. That sounds weird, doesn't it?
Can we get that one saved? Can we get that clip?
That sounds really awkward, doesn't it? Yeah. So he's got fond memories of Funko Park out there. He's his old stomping grounds, as he was calling it.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. What else did we learn?
We learned a couple of things about Ryan today, actually, that we learned from Ryan Rowland-Smith himself. That Ryan Rowland-Smith is a big deal.
Well, I was sitting 20 rows back. My bad, not bragging. Good seats right behind the plate. But I was sitting with Lennox, my 6-year-old. I was at the game in the seats yesterday. Just getting absolutely hounded by fans. It was like, no, sorry, I'm trying to double down on my stupid jokes. No one can care less.
I wonder if he sells that really. He goes in hard with that. I wonder if people are taking him seriously.
Oh, he starts laughing right away.
Yeah.
I think that's half of what makes it so funny is how much he cracks up at his own jokes.
Yeah, he cracks himself up.
Because as soon as he starts laughing, I start cracking up. Yeah. You can see he's trying to hold back the laugh, and he thinks it's hilarious what he's about to unleash here. But yeah, he was there just trying to be one of the people. Yeah. Just trying to blend in, and his celebrity doesn't really allow that. It's a lot of
big time, man. He's got that top step thing.
That's right. A lot of pictures, a lot of autographs, a lot of questions, I'm certain. But yeah, he's a big deal, and we're lucky to have him every week, every Monday with Ryan Rowland-Smith. What else did we learn?
Well, we learned that we have a new way of quantifying. I guess it doesn't have to be panic, but we learned that we have a scale. It's a new scale. It could be a way of quantifying panic, frustration, anger, kind of whatever you want to call it.
The low level of panic is the equivalent of the downstairs market is out of Lunchables. The high level of panic is the equivalent of a dog pooping in your lawn.
Yeah,
on your lawn.
I'll tell you what. I wouldn't say panic.
That would be more anger.
That would be anger. I want to punch you in the face. Okay, those are the two. No, there's no Lunchables downstairs, which contain aluminum. Is that right?
Lead.
Yeah.
Lead, I believe, according to
now, let me ask you:
back.
Is that good for you?
I don't believe it is.
I think you should have some lead in your diet.
You think you should?
Okay, and then the dog poop thing. It's like the audacity of why would you just let your dog crap on my lawn and think it's okay?
What if the dog did it, but the owner picked it up in a bag and walked off?
I'd still be like,
because sometimes the dogs make the choice. You can't really pick them up and move them to another spot.
Yeah, I mean, if they're like, hey, I'm really sorry about this, whatever. But if they think they can just pick it up, first of all, I don't know how. Let's not get into poop talk. Never mind.
Wow, that's a first. Dave Wyman saying, let's not talk about
I was just going to say, all right.
This is a shocking moment for all of us.
Yeah. Hey, I'm not the one that came up with the scale.
Yeah, that's a Lefko creation.
That's what it breaks down for me, I guess. That's the impression I leave.
I can't believe you didn't want to talk about poop, though.
Yeah, I think we'd had enough.
Yeah, that was enough poop talk. Have you ever caught anybody as they're leaving the scene of the crime?
Yeah, there was a kid. And, and I think parents new to the country, so I don't know. And the kid was like 9 or 10. Oh. So what am I going to do? Scream at the kid?
Squirt lemon juice in his eyes.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess I could have gone down and said, hey, honey, you can't do that, okay? But, yeah, I wouldn't want to
say, oh, you forgot something, sweetie. Take that with you.
Or how about I
take
just
that
go
with
down there and go, what the hell are you doing? Get back over here. Yeah, I'm not that grumpy of an old man.
Yeah. Did we learn anything else?
Yeah, we learned one more thing. We learned tonight that it's important to listen to directions.
Matt, let's just run these back to back, and I'll explain what they are. But this is Cal Friday, Saturday, Sunday, working his magic.
5 runs batted in on a 2-2.
I'm sure
Here's
Matt's
the pitch.
very annoyed.
Swung on, crushed, right field. It's
Shut
on its
up.
way.
Hey, Dave, remember how Bob said, we're going to run these back to back? That was your indication to know that we were going to run the highlights back to back.
I blew right through that one.
And then on the next one, I bet he's annoyed with me. Jeez. If he's not, I am.
He'd win that
bet.
Anytime. I don't like to screw up like that, but if it irritates Matt, it's worth it.
Feels like a win.
It's definitely a win.
Then you're winning a lot, Dave. Congratulations.
All right. Thank you.
I just love it.
Keep
I
it
blew
rolling.
right through that one. Then you talked on the next one.
I didn't hear back to back to back. I heard back to back. Come on now. That's
you
not
heard
my
back
fault.
to back, and then you ignored back to back.
I can't be held responsible.
Goodness. All right. Is that all the learning?
That is it. That's all the learning today.
All right. Coming up, we'll get more of that great insight from Ryan Rowland-Smith, the superstar that he is, about what he took away from the first 6 games of this Mariners 9-game homestand. That's coming your way next with Wyman and Bob, live from the Virginia Mason Athletic Center. It's Seattle Sports on 710. Fate brought us together in the men's room.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10.
We got John Smoltz with us. If you had to describe this Mariner team in one sentence, what do you think they are so far?
If the Seattle Mariners find a way to score runs, they're going to be in the playoffs and they're going to be a dangerous team. When they get the confidence that they don't have to win 2-1, 1-0, that is a big time difference when you're looking at a team that everybody knows just needs to score runs to win.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
You're losing your hair and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Perungo and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all 3 like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
Guys, tired all the time? Gaining weight? Low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. This June, for Men's Health Month, Revive Men's Health in Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. No guessing, just answers. Over 100,000 men have trusted Revive to get real results. More energy, better sleep, improved mood, and confidence that shows. If something feels off, don't wait. Take control and protect your long-term health by knowing your numbers. This offer ends June 30th. Schedule your free comprehensive wellness panel today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Feel better. Live stronger. Start now.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things. People. Love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your team and focus on your future. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. Olympic Series windows are offered exclusively by Harley Exteriors, manufactured right here in Washington, specifically designed